What's up, ladies and gentlemen? It's Talk That Talk Tuesday. We're going to hop right into the show tonight. For you who celebrating the holiday, celebrating. For those who are not celebrating it, congratulations to you as well. And I want to start the show by bringing up some of the best crew that I have met. Man, these people are not just people that come up on this panel now, but I consider these people family. They are truly, truly family. You can trust them. You can talk to them, laugh with them. You can bump heads with them, and then we'll still come back together collectively. And so I want to introduce my team tonight, my panel tonight that's going to come in and kill it and kill it and kill it. All right. You know these guys. You ask for your autographs after the show, but we're going to bring them up one by one. I'm going to start with the ladies first. We got the Wife School Podcast back in this building. Thank God to her. It's in this thing tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Yes,
what's up, everybody? How you guys doing?
Yes, thank you for being here, love. Thank you so much. All right, so next up, we got the old school man. He in the building tonight. Listen, his last name is what he's going to be bringing tonight. Give it up for R. Payne in the building tonight.
Hello, everybody. All right.
Good to see you, my brother. Good to see you.
Thanks for having me on.
Man, it's going good. Hey, listen, sometimes we can be calm, but sometimes we got to get reckless to get the point across. So we got the man in the building that will shake it up and turn the boat over. Let's give it up for Reckless Ray De Niro in the building tonight.
Representing Team America, Reckless Ray De Niro's in the building, guys. I hope you're ready.
Absolutely. And listen, you don't need a translator. Sometimes people get lost in translation, but this man right here, he's gonna bring it tonight. Give it up for the soft-spoken but powerful man of God, man of faith, man of family, man of everything that's good and none that's bad. Give it up for the best voice on YouTube you've ever had. Give it up. Lost in Translations in the building tonight.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Good evening.
All right, listen. If you watch Boys in the Hood back in the day, you know when Cuba Gooding Jr. was looking down that alleyway, he called out a name. He said, Ricky! And Ricky is in the building tonight to bring it right now. Did you hear what I said? Ricky's in the building tonight.
Allow me to reintroduce myself. My name is
Yeah, absolutely, my brother. I appreciate you so much for being here. Now, we got a few others coming. They're coming a little late because they're dealing with family, whatever, but they'll be popping in a few minutes. But thank you guys for being here. Hey, listen, I'm going to start with Wife School Podcast, and then we'll just flow. So Wife School Podcast, we'll know how you're doing, how your family doing, how's your day going. Then we go right into our Payne, Ricky, Lost in Translation, and Reckless. Y'all go ahead.
I am doing well. I'm blessed, grateful. It's very noisy out here, but I'm just glad to be back up here with you guys and to talk and to just open up again. And so I'm just glad to be here.
All right. I'm doing well. You know, had the family over. I went over. Were you finished wife school?
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you know, I had the family over. I just went overboard on my smoker. I broke it out for 4th of July. I smoked everything in there, man. I had so much food. And, you know, so we're giving away plates. We're giving away plates, yeah. So it was a good day. You know, I had to take a nap, man. You know, so before I said, let me take a nap before I get on this podcast. That's what I did. I'm done.
How's my mic? My mic okay?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. I really don't dig holidays. You know what I'm saying? Especially like these. I really don't dig them. No, they put me in a bad place mentally. But my wife, she cooks, she threw down. People had a good time. So waiting for them to leave so I can clean up the house and we can get back to life. So that's about where I'm at with it.
All right. Then we go to it's Lost in Translation, then Reckless, right?
Okay. Yep.
Yeah,
And
man.
then Lost in Translation, Reckless, then Mr. Bennett.
Yeah, you know, I had to work today, so I didn't get a chance to get none of that.
I got beans, greens, potatoes, tomatoes,
Man.
rams, pork, chicken, turkeys, rabbit, you name.
I didn't get a chance to get none of that, man. So if y'all can spare a plate, hit a brother up.
Oh, man. I hear you.
Outside of that, everything good. Everything good.
All right. Go ahead, Reckless,
Man.
then Mr. Bennett. You hop in right after Reckless.
Just getting back in from the lake. We did celebrate. My chick got me this hat, so I'm wearing it. I haven't taken it off since I got it because it's ridiculous. I love it. But yeah, no, all's good. I had to take a double nap to get ready for this, to get my sleep schedule back in some semblance of an order.
That's doing pretty good over here. I literally just got back not too long ago. My family were invited over by some family friends and had, you know, definitely some good fellowship with some people. And so just getting settled in here. Hopefully you guys don't hear too much. They popping fireworks all over my neighborhood. So it's like my dog is in shock right now. He's just beside himself. So he's just running around the house like he cannot stand fireworks. So yeah, but they popping them all over. So you may hear some of that.
What kind of dog do you have?
I have a beagle.
Yeah, he's scared. He's not in it with you?
Not right now. He usually does a spot on middle of my staircase. He just hides out there anytime he hears the loud noises and fireworks, and you know, he will not leave that spot.
Wow.
So he's just gonna have to endure it.
All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, you see who is here tonight. We got Wife School Podcast, R. Payne, Reckless, Ray, Mr. Bennett, Ricky, and Lost in Translation, and a few more to go. But I'm glad you guys are here. Hit the like button, subscribe button. Also, if you want to donate to the channel, you know what to do. Go ahead and hit that Cash App that will be scrolling at the bottom of the screen in a few seconds. And if you want to get a super chat, you could do that as well. All right. And we're going to jump right into the show. So, guys, I have a video I want you guys to see. You may have seen it already, but I want to discuss it with my family tonight. Who's watching, who's in the chat, and who's on the panel. This really kind of messed with my head a little bit. So I want to know what old school has to say. Mr. Bennett and R. Payne, I definitely want to hear Reckless wreck this thing out and Lost in Translation. Be ready. Wife School Podcast, you got to get your ladies in order. All right, here we go. Let me go ahead and play it for you guys because it's about to get ugly. All right, Ray, don't you say nothing right now, okay? You got a 5 minute?
5 minutes? Okay. 5 minutes. I can do that.
Yeah, 5 minutes before you can snap, okay?
Okay.
Okay, all right, here we go.
Be the dominant and the man should be the submissive. That's
Yeah, because y'all follow commands. You go do. And she gonna tell you what to do. Because here's the thing, if y'all don't have somebody telling y'all what to do, y'all are going to be reckless. And so women are divorcing y'all in these relationships because they are allowing you to quote unquote lead, and they're being submissive. And since y'all can't lead yourself, y'all leading her into the ground. So here's the thing, the natural order is for the feminine to be the leader. If you give to the feminine, right? The feminine is always going to regenerate life and everybody's going to be taken care of. Y'all are territorial. Y'all just want the image of leadership. You just want to be out in public. I'm the leader, but all of the responsibility is actually on the woman. The leader takes the majority of the responsibility. If women allow men, which means she submit, all right, and allow him to lead, she don't have no control over what he's going to do. She's steady submitting to him. Women have to change their minds and realize that they ain't supposed to submit to men because men just going to do what you allow them to do, because they don't have no governor on their own behavior to know when to not do something, to know better. They don't know. They're just going to keep being reckless. And they're not going to take care of your feelings because they're only concerned about theirs.
Black man, you muted.
All right. I want to start with the Wife School podcast, guys. Wife School podcast. No, I'm going to save you for last. I want to get the fellas out of the way first. R. Payne, what are your thoughts about the soliloquy that we just witnessed?
I mean, I've seen it several times, and I don't know. You know, I come from a place when somebody's talking crazy or nonsense. It's like you give them power by actually even responding to it. I mean, everything she says is completely against nature, against Christianity, it's against biology, it's against culture, it's against everything. And first of all, I don't believe what she. First of all, I hear that she has some kind of trauma in her life with dealing with men in the past. So now she don't even look like she likes men, right? With that stupid hat on and a wig. So I mean, it almost gives it too much justice to try to break down her argument about leadership and who should be in charge and all that kind of. It's just part of the ridiculousness of the space. And if you have good content on the space, you have to accept that there's going to be bad actors in the space as well. Mm-hmm. And she's just a bad actor because we know that leadership, the way she's talking about, simply doesn't work. Men are not meant to be led by women in that kind of fashion. It's just not. So that's all I have to say. But
hey, Reckless, come on, Reckless. Your 5 minutes is up.
I had to put my hat on like she put her hat on because I heard like my kitten stopped what she was doing. She's up here with me, and this hyena harmed my kitten because my kitten stopped playing and watched and listened to everything that idiot said, and now my cat's broken. It's moving slow now. It's not going the same speed that it was previously going. It doesn't look like it's having fun. I'm not having fun. This is the best troll in history. What she did was she took the red pill tenet of if you let a woman lead in a relationship, she will lead you to the end of the relationship, and just inverted it and put her hat on stupid. So now Ray's going to go into his bag. It's time to get reckless. The first thing is, this woman doesn't allegedly and respectfully no longer deals with men. She deals with women. In which case, what she's saying makes sense because one of them women got to be the leader, which is fine. That's what it is. But this goes back to it's okay for other communities to attack, and I'm not the terminology cis or straight people. I'm just going to say normal people for this podcast. It's okay for them to attack and further push this stupid agenda that's anti-family, it's anti-American, it's anti-civilization, because realistically, what they're trying to do is just break civilization down to nothing and then rebuild it in whatever messed up image they have. But it seems like it's just going to be packs of roving hyenas with IQs that are under 90 running around telling people what to do. But this is the reason you can't just be taking advice from anybody. She's saying something that a lot of women will make them feel good. A lot of your strong, independent women will feel good about what she's saying. Yeah, sis, we all do. This woman doesn't even have a man. She's not interested in having a man. So what she's doing is she's recruiting. Like they're recruiting. She's gonna make a bunch of women that are exactly like her, which are miserable and stupid. And that's the goal here. They want you miserable and dumb. You're easier to control that way. And if you believe anything that this woman said or think that there's some credence to it, please show me the civilization where she hailed from that is just run by women, that wasn't wiped off the face of the planet, had all their resources, and they cookies took it. I'll wait.
All right. Mr. Bennett, your thoughts?
I'm kind of with our pain on this one. I typically I don't try to cast pearls before swine, so
I like that.
I kind of jump off of this one. I would say this: I think there certainly is a void in male leadership in that the fact that, especially with Black people, if Black men aren't being raised to be leaders, then obviously you're not going to have the succession of leadership that you need. And so I do think you do have a lot of men out there who were not raised to be leaders. So, and I think that's a void that needs to be fixed, but I think only men can fix it. So that's about as much as I'll say on that. But to our Penny's point, to give her any more airplay than what's been said, I just need to hear the crickets in that case.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Uh-oh. Ricky, what are your thoughts?
My thoughts?
Yeah.
I simply cannot accept advice from a woman who don't understand how to be up under a man. It's just that simple. Yeah, there's a lack of leadership. So it's a lack of leadership with men, but they got to learn somewhere, right? They got to learn somewhere. So again, if Black women, you guys are not the substitute for leadership. Y'all don't get it right. Y'all don't. I'm getting tired of this. It's stupid. I've been talking about this stuff going on 3 years and nothing's going to change. It's not going to change because people don't want to change. Nobody wants to be right. When the men want to be right, y'all tell them y'all wrong. Why listen to any woman who don't know how to be up under a man? Why listen to any man that don't want to lead a woman? You 50-50 people gonna get what they looking for. 50-50. You get what you ask for. And that's what y'all asking for. So what's the point for real?
Lost in translation.
Here's my thing. If she's listening, I just want her to know. You big dummy. That's not gonna fly. And I'm gonna tell you like this. That's not gonna fly. Here's my thing, man. She doesn't have an ounce of respect for men at all. It's just she has a low level of contempt for men. My thing is this, man. What you respect will come to you. What you don't respect will move away from you. And that allows me to believe that she's having a hard time attracting men because she doesn't respect them. They don't come around. You know, there's an old saying that says this, the teacher will appear when the student is ready. She ain't ready, man. That's why she ain't got no man. And that's how it is, man. And sometimes you just gotta let people just walk around, man, until something happens to them. You know, you can't teach people, what to learn if they ain't, willing to learn. So with that being said, we're just gonna let her live by whatever semblance of intelligence she thinks she's gonna live by, and we're just gonna add up the cost later on and see who was right. So I'm gonna leave it at that.
Absolutely. Last but not least, the lady in the building tonight, the Wife School Podcast. What are your thoughts?
She had my brain all twisted and like I just wanted you to stop the video, like for real. But it was just pure emasculation on steroids, for real. The fact that she could even formulate her mouth to say such things, I just couldn't believe it. Like she literally believes that a woman can lead a man, turn him this way, that way, have control, and he needs to be submissive and tell him go do this and do that. Like that's what you do to your sons. You know what I'm saying? Like if you instruct your children, not a grown man that's supposed to be over you and leading you. And it's so bad because so many women, they don't want to give that up. They don't want to give up whatever power they think they have, and they want to have the one up on the man so that they can feel that they're in control. And that's what's wrong with a lot of households today. And the men, they're like, I'm sick of this. I'm sick of this. And I want to leave. I want to cheat. I don't feel like a man here. And I want to go here and feel like, appreciate it. Like, cause you like talking to me like a kid. And, and this is very dangerous. The words that sorry about the fireworks is the first that she's speaking is very dangerous. It's very, a poisoning to like even our Black women, even more, and the woman is the neck idea. No, it's not going to fly. And she will never get a man.
Absolutely. I think that she's just talking. I don't understand. I don't understand. But think about this, guys, and this is the truth. Everybody on this panel knows this. She has a following of women who listens to this rhetoric. She has a following. And you don't have to be on YouTube, right? Because a lot of people say YouTube contributed to a lot of this. You don't have to be on YouTube. This is the thought process of women in real life. And the numbers of women who are acting like that, the number is growing. To the men out there who are married, man, you better be thanking God you got married. Because being out here in the dating world today and dealing with the women that we see today, not you, Wife School Podcast, we're going to put you to the side. Okay, we ain't going to talk about you, Sugarfoot. But I'm just saying, the women out here today, if you're looking for a wife today, man, you're going to, before you may find, if you may or may not find the right one, but if you do find, it's going to take you a while to get through these. You're going to have to get through them. You're going to have to go on dates with these women and hear these things. And so, man, to the guys who are married, man, just imagine, Ricky, if you had to date today. Imagine, Mr. Bennett, if you had to get back out there today. You know what I'm saying? Think about it. Think about it. Right? Lost in translation, you're not married yet, right?
No.
We praying for you, man. Reckless, he's already got his woman, so he thank God that you got your woman, Reckless. Our Pain, thank God you got your wife, Doc. Right? Because if you had to get back here right now, Our Pain, man, they're gonna be like this. Hey, they're gonna say, Mr. Pain, you sound good, everything look good. But I was listening to my homegirl on social media, and she said, I'm supposed to be the leader. I'm supposed to lead you. Women are the most dominant because all men are just reckless. Right?
And that's when I'll give her the bill so she could pay for my dinner.
Exactly, bro. You
can pay for this thing. There you
go. And so my next question would be this. I'm gonna start with Ricky and we'll go around. So Ricky, right now, for the men who may be watching this and may watch it later, who are single, the young men who are coming up and the older men who are single right now, looking for a wife, what advice would you give them for the world that we're living in today, with the temperature of the world we're living in today, with what you just heard?
Me being totally transparent, I think most women ain't that smart. I'm just being honest. I just think, again, this is why I go with Mr. Bennett. Like, a lot of men not willing to stand on what they believe in.
Yep.
Right. I look, because I gotta keep it a buck, right? Because I don't think most men are trash. I don't believe most women are trash. I just believe most women are followers. Right? They're social creatures. It's the reason they got to have girlfriend groups and can't sit still and want to go out all the time, because they social. They always want to be doing something. It's in their nature. You know what I'm saying? The thing is that men don't want to put their foot down on what's necessary. This is what I expect of you. This is what I'm going to do. Right? And don't be afraid to use what you have, what she's with you for, which is your resources and your knowledge, right, as leverage against her. I'm not going to take care of you if you don't act right. You're not going to be with me. You're not going to get these things I provide for you, right, if you don't do what I need you to do. And like I said before, don't be afraid to lose her.
Yeah.
Don't be afraid. Stop being suckers, man. Don't be afraid, bro. If you a decent dude, this is how I know these dudes is capped about y'all saying y'all this and y'all that. Because if you was that, you ain't got no problem finding no woman. None, for whatever purpose. Right? So What you saying you provide and what you saying you do, either it's not real or you a liar. Somebody got to pick a story, right? A good dudes don't finish last. Good dudes finish first because good dudes don't let people walk over them. Good dudes don't let people disrespect them in their face and just let it ride out. Good dudes don't let stuff sit and get done and don't say nothing about it. Right? So I think just the women, it's no different when men get away with what women allow them. Women get away with what men allow. Women get away with what men allow, and men get away with what women allow, and women get away with what men allow. Right? If you with me, it wouldn't be no different for me because I know I understand there's good women out here. I'm not gonna waste my time, effort, or energy on no skank. No girl that's playing around in games. You're gonna get played like a game. But like they follow us, man. Everybody follows. Nobody wants to stand 10 toes down. No one wants to have any morals or honor or anything they believe in. That's all I got.
Black man, you muted again.
Hey, thank you, Mr. Ben. I'm muted because my neighbor next door sounds like Rambo fighting the Terminator over here.
Yeah, it's all over, man.
Yeah. So, So, Mr. Bennett, what are your thoughts? What advice would you give to men who are in this dating world right now, who are decent men? We're not talking about the Pookies and Ray Rays, the red pill talking. We're not talking about the manosphere. We're talking about good, wholesome men who are looking for a wife and is seeing these type of women. What advice would you give to them?
Well, again, the first thing I'm going to ask them, I was literally just having a conversation today with some brothers about it. Who is in your network in terms of mentorship? See, I'm focusing more on who are the guys talking to as far as men. Who's in, who is elevating you? Are you in a room with people who are smarter than you are, whether it comes to real estate, where it comes to finances, where it comes to how you move around in this world? Because I'm gonna be worrying about that first before I worry about what your social, what your dating life is. Because again, if you're around those people, then they're going to school you. Just look at all the guys on this panel. Like, please, if a young man is hanging out with Reckless, I already know. It's he's gonna get the game, like what's on game here. Ricky, Arpane, we already know that these guys are gonna be getting good advice from guys who are actually walking the walk. So I'm going to worry about that first. And as far as what Ricky was saying earlier, you have to be willing to lose a few, like to stand on what you believe, lay on what are your values, what you will not compromise on, and be ready to lose 99 just to find the one. Because that's the thing, we're only looking for one here. This isn't sales where you're trying to get volume. All right, you don't need a sales pitch. You actually want the inverse of that. You want to turn off 99, and whomever's left from the pool, then that's going to be the pool that you go from. But I know when I was dating, certainly there was just certain things that was just like, it was like garlic to a vampire. It was like, nah, don't even come this way. And so, you be willing to lose or be willing not to be having so many people attracted to you. Work with the few who would meet you where you are. So that's why I would tell them. But certainly these days I'm more interested in who his man's group is rather than what his female social life is looking at. All
right, absolutely. Arpane, same question to you, my brother.
Yeah, it's funny. I'm like one of these, I guess, YouTube groupies. I'm around talking to all these guys, and so many of the new guys are trapped in their, I guess, red pill rage. They think things are so bad they can't see the forest from the trees. If you're intentional about finding a woman to be your mate or have her to work into marriage, you got to be intentional about what you need, and you got to be true to your discriminators, right? The things that would eliminate her as a person that you want to, have a meaningful relationship with, you got to stand by that. And first, you got to understand: do you want this woman to be somebody just to smash, or do you want this woman to be somebody who's going to be a lifelong partner? And if she's going to be your partner, you got to have a list of things that you're looking for, and you can't be afraid to talk about them. You don't talk about them all at once. It's a combination of interface and conversation and asking the right questions. And a lot of it is also observation. You know, how does she behave? You know, around you, around other people, who she associates with. There's a lot of things you have to do. And I think a lot of the newfangled guys are so trapped in this modern era, they don't understand. The nature of women hasn't changed. It's just been unleashed because of the tools that we have, right? You know, as soon as they got the pill, and that changed a lot of things. Men are pretty much the same. We've been kind of basic for forever. Well, if you understand the basic nature of women, I don't care what era we're in, those are the kind of things you start with. And then women will eliminate themselves until you find somebody who has something worth fighting for. And I think a lot of guys, I'm going to land it here, I think a lot of guys are blinded by this space. I mean, there's still good women out there, even in the West. You know, it may be that a lot of them are hidden because they kind of look like everybody else. And so you got to work at it. But, you know, I don't think it's that complicated. I mean, I'm old enough to know back in the day where you had to go and talk to a woman and you didn't use an app. You had to go get, you had to go forge your iron through fire, right? You had to get up and get rejected. A lot of guys don't understand that anymore. They just going on apps and things of that nature. But I don't think it's that complicated. To tell you the truth, BMU, I mean, I'm not in the kind of shape I was before, but I don't think I'd have as much trouble as some of these dudes out here if I was back on the scene. I really don't. That's just me.
And that's what I was saying, and that's what I was talking about. Like the men that we focus on a lot are the Pookies, the Ray Rays, the guys who don't want to be married, who want to hit everything moving, who want to be sexually moving, with all these women, who want to be in real pure rage. We discuss them. I'm talking about the men who, like I said again, who are decent men, who are working their butts off, trying to create an atmosphere for a family, and they're running into situations like this. They're finding decent women, but they're dating them. Like, so during the vetting process, one of the guys that I talked to probably a few days ago, he's in the process of, I want to be married. I want to have a wife, and I definitely want to have some mini-me's is what he called them. Some mini-me's with my wife. He said, bro, I've been on so many dates. And he said, I'll go on a couple of dates. He said, I give every woman 2 dates. And he said, the first date, I try to get to know her, what she's about, what she likes to do, things of that nature. Dig a little deep. He said the second date, they dig a little deeper about parents, father in their life, mom, what was the relationship between them? Like, he digs a little deeper. He said, man, I haven't gone past the second date in about 3 months. He said, I just dismiss them all. He said they get into money, what your bank account look like. I don't mean no harm. You are a sweet guy, but how many rooms in your house? Do you own a house? It's all about, he says, all about the financial part of him. Then he said he starts to ask them, I don't have no daddy. My daddy was they'll call him names. He went this, he's this, my mom this, and he says just, he says, so what he's going to do is try to open up, try to be around more men, even at the church. I have these men groups and in couples groups, and they also have singles ministry where women and men get together. He says he's just going to try to dig into some of that to try to meet the right women and get into different spaces to try to meet those women, because he really wants to have a family. So shout out to those guys who are really doing the work and trying to get it done. Lost in translation, what would be your advice for the young men out here who are decent, who's looking for a woman in this climate that we're in?
My advice would be what's always been said. Proverbs 31:3, don't waste your strength on women, for they'll cause kings to downfall. You know what I'm saying?
That's a good scripture.
In other words, of Brother Gino,
I don't chase booty.
you know what I'm saying? You got to stay disciplined. You know what I mean? Don't waste your whole bunch of time chasing women, man. Do what you got to do. Stay focused. And here's my thing. If you do run across somebody, man, make sure that that's somebody your kids can be proud to call mom. Right. Or somebody you can be proud to call your wife. That should be number one. You know what I mean? And if you can work past that, then you'll be fine. But don't go on a whole bunch of dates, man. That's a waste of time, money, and effort. Just don't do that, man. Put that money back. Let it grow. You know what I'm saying? Investments, do whatever you got to do. Take care of yourself. Dusto say, hit the gym. You know what I'm saying? Be the best version of yourself you can be. Educate yourself, that type of thing. And just don't go out there just wasting your time, man. Your time is valuable. You only get so many years on this earth, man. Make it count. They have to qualify to be in your presence. Remember that. You're the one providing the service here, sir. Remember that. Don't forget that. That's the only thing I had to tell gentlemen, just to remember who you are.
Absolutely. Reckless. I see you just put in the chat that dating is hell for the average dude right now. So I know you've probably been around some guys who are decent that's dealing. Go ahead.
My advice, and this is one of the things I want to point out before I give the advice, is these dudes that you're seeing that are in the red pill rage were and probably still are decent guys. What happens is throughout the dating process for decent guys that are just average, that ain't there yet, they go through hell. They get put down, they get done dirty, they get put in phone as food. They're not able to seal the deal. They're invisible to women, and which is a two-part issue because most of these conversations circle around trying to get 304s to be wives. A woman for the streets is for the streets. Even if she marries you, she is for the streets. There's a bunch of women out there that are not marriageable. And I know that's going to sound curt. I know that's going to not make a lot of people happy, but some of y'all deserve to just be where you at, and you just got to stay there. You going out this as what you are. You're taking your chaos to other people. You are breaking good men in the process and causing damage. Now, the other thing is, those you young men who are out there, you have to know what you want. If you want a wife, wives do not come from the club. The chick twerking on the table at the club is not a wife. She may look nice. She is not a wife. That is not a wife. That is not somebody that you want to carry your lineage. That is not somebody that you want to be raising your child and pouring into your child. The women who just look good and there's nothing in their heads are not wives. Sorry. Everybody wants a dime until they get burnt by the dime. I mean, honestly, do it early and get it out the way. Go ahead and catch you that club baddie so that you can have that experience. It's not good. These women, they're shells, a lot of them. Now, to find a dime that's got something going on and is actually a human being and functions like one, that's rare. Lock it down if you can. But the vast majority of these women that these dudes are speaking on, they're wanting to change something from what it is to what they want it to be. You trying to change a hyena into a lamb. These women are who they are, and they are telling you from the get-go. From the get. You can scroll through a chick's Instagram. That first page will tell you everything you need to know. My advice for men is get that Instagram. If you always see her on a yacht, you know what it is. Somebody paid for that, and there was a cost for her to be there for free. She's telling you what she's wanting. She's always somewhere, but you know this chick don't make no money. Do the math, my guys. That's an easy piece of dating advice. Tip number 1, always get a chick's Instagram. And just look at the first page. You ain't even got to scroll through it on some stalker stuff. She's going to be advertising what she's expecting immediately, and you ain't got to say nothing to her. But we've got to understand that the red pill rage process, everybody goes through it. I went through it. You get upset once you realize what the game is, and once you realize you ain't been playing it right. Once you realize the advice that you've been given, doing exactly what the women tell you they supposedly want, and getting walked over, yeah, you gonna be mad about that. And then you get in these spaces with a bunch of other men who are also mad about that. And the question is, how long are you going to stay there? How long are you staying in that space? Also, other question you got to ask yourself is, are you trying to rack up bodies, or are you looking for a wife? Those are two different things, gentlemen. Now, if you're racking up bodies, I ain't got nothing to say to you. Get out there and get what you can, because that's the world that you live in. But if you are choosing a wife, that is something that you are 100% in control of, and you select the women that you want. But you should also select women that meet the standards of what you want raising your kid, because at the end of the day, that woman, at least during those formative years, is going to have more say than you. So if she's not saying what you're saying and carrying forth your standards, that is not going to be a good wife to you. And not only that, she will do harm to your child, in the sense that you're not going to have the child that you wanted to have. You will have a child that's poisoned against you. You will have a child that is used as a weapon against you. You'll be having this. You will have a child that will be used as an anchor against you. These are things that need to be heavily considered. There's a lot that goes into vetting someone that you want to marry over just somebody that you're trying to bust down. Now, what happens is a lot of these dudes are out here busting down chicks and then going after the marriage after the fact. You're doing it backwards. And it's very important. Like, there's a lot of, are you talking to the women that you're dating? Are you having real conversations? Are you talking about building stuff? Are you talking about what's going on in the future? Are you having those conversations? Does she consistently know what the plan is, what you're going after? Are you reinforcing those things? Are you grooming the woman that you're trying to marry? Yeah, I used the G word. You need to groom your wife. She needs to be trained in how you are expecting her to navigate and what those expectations are. You do not spring them when the time comes. Like, if you got a chick that's an introvert and you're trying to go to galas, you better start grooming her so that she knows what the expectation is of her when you're there, that yes, men are going to hit on you. You're here for a reason. Me and my chick had this exact conversation this weekend. She does not like talking to men. She is scared to death of talking to men because she knows I'll leave. So she doesn't talk to men she does not know. But I told her, I was like, men you don't know, like, I'm with you for a reason. You look good. Men hit on you. You need to be able to assess if they are of value to me and bring them to me. We can filter out the rest of them. Like, it's not I'm asking you to do anything uncomfortable, but you need to be sociable in social situations. And I'm not talking about a bar, the spaces that we're in. That is part of your job. If I go off to grab you a drink and somebody comes and hits on you, you need to find out what he does. And if he's of use, like, because you can kick him over into the friend zone real quick. Like, I'm fine with that. Like, there's a lot more to being married than a lot of people in the dating process want to actually vet for. Like, and most people are disingenuous when it comes down to having those actual conversations about that. I'll leave it there.
All right, Dusto, same question to you. For the men who are not raging, not upset, not chasing down women or dragging women or disrespecting women, but the men who out here are decent, working hard every day, average men, what advice would you give them for what we're seeing out here now?
First thing I say is those men aren't seeing what you just posted on the video, not those men. If that's what they're seeing, they lied to you. If they said that's who they are. Go to the gym, get your mind right. Work on your confidence, work on your communication style. Learn as much about you as possible. Learn much about emotions, emotional intelligence, communication. That's active listening. Learn about setting expectations and be real with yourself. Learn how to filter out information, because you're going to hear so much garbage. It's going to look good. It's going to smell good. But a lot of the information you're going to get, and a lot of it will actually come from married people, just to be honest. You have to filter through the garbage, nod your head, say, yep. Throw out the trash and keep what's actually valuable. And the rest of it is on you. But make sure everything that you do and that you hear and that you plan is personalized. Don't make anything generic because of women or because of men or because of society. Make it personalized. You're muted, black man.
I appreciate that, Scam Likely. Jedi Mike, what are your thoughts on the question?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, go ahead. You were muted.
Yeah. Basically kind of echo the point what Dustin was talking about, is that a lot of these conversations, someone who's also like newlywed, we're not having the right conversations before we jump into this game of life. And a lot of people, whether either today, tomorrow, or 20 years from now, gonna have some baggage they're gonna have to reveal to this person. When you're trying to join two lifestyles together and not having, the conversation about, hey, having your non-negotiables and never negotiating it, And then all of a sudden, when things happen in year 13 or 15, then you'll be like, who the hell did I just marry? This person's going to change. So are you. Now, the problem is that you should be evolving with each other as a unit, especially as a family, right? We understand that, uh, you know, uh, we've been as men, we might have been lied to because we've done the one mistake that we've been told to by Disney Channel, now Disney Plus, which you can subscribe for like $10.99 a month. Is basically listen to women what they want to what they need, not really what they want, and then all of a sudden when you basically do everything that they tell you to do, then all of a sudden they whip the carpet on your rug. Now you're on flat on your face like, what the hell? I thought I was a good man. And most of us really experience this around the third grade, and that's why I kind of prioritize people to listen to their boys and actually focus that they're forging the viewpoint on women, not at high school, not at year 30. They're forming the viewpoint in the relationships between on the playground. You just don't realize it, and we don't have those conversations a lot. So I just kind of understand that we have to make sure that understanding patterns of behavior in people, but understanding with men, understanding that when you have a relationship with women, making sure you have your priorities and straight, protecting yourself. But more importantly, the biggest thing you can do is know who you are. Because if you don't, people are going to give you an answer. But I can promise you won't be for your benefit.
All right. I appreciate you, man. I appreciate you. Now, last but not least, with the lady in the building for tonight, the Wife School podcast, from your perspective as a woman who is looking to be married as well, what are your thoughts since you're on the other side of it? What are your thoughts?
As I look up to a man, right, I would like him to be maximizing on his purpose, right, and to be very masculine, to be direct in what you want. I like when a man has standards, and like Mr. Jedi said, when you have your voice, nobody else can give you an answer. So you have to stand on your own as a man and say, hey, this is what's happening, Stephanie. And I'll be like, okay, or you're going to get that red pill, crazy hat stuff. I think that definitely a man should definitely put his purpose first before anything else, because if you give a woman an inch, she might just take a mile. And that's how it is sometimes. And women know how to be manipulative, and you just got to be aware of when it's happening. But to like curb all that, you just have to be on your purpose and communicate and state who you are, and you got to say, hey, you got to acquiesce to that. Okay, you're on my vision, you're on my plan. That's cool. We can get down like that. And if a woman can understand that, then that's good. And as Jedi was saying, like, I think one thing that Disney got right was like the Cinderella story. The prince, he kept trying that shoe on different women until he found that right one which was a good fit for him. So you just gotta keep trying until that lady is the one that fits your standards, and don't compromise.
So when you said manipulative, so you're saying that you've seen decent men with women like you've seen in the video, or has an aura like that where the men are being manipulated?
I believe there are women that are out there giving advice to use your not the happy femininity, like maybe that dark femininity to get what you want.
Right. Learning. So basically you're saying she's learning everything about him to become what she wants to him, to get what she wants from him.
Yes. And I think that's not being genuine, because when I was listening to certain females, I'm like, well, it does sound good. It would sound nice to, be able to, have access to resource like that. But then it's like, that's not you, that's not who I wanted to be. I don't want to finesse anybody out of anything. I actually want to have my own things.
Mhm.
And if he's kind enough to share his resource with me, that's a bonus. That's a plus. And I just think that because we want to get such fast microwave results in relationships and not really work for them and not really invest in them, women will do those things to try to speed things along. And then, like he said, you'll just end up on your face and heartbroken and just being used.
All right. Well, thank you for that. I appreciate it. Anybody else have anything they want to add to that before we move on to the next thing? All right, man. I appreciate it. So listen, now earlier today, I had an opportunity I was talking about this with the crew here before the show started. Earlier today, I was watching Tia and Tamara. They have a little Facebook show or something. And we all know Tia is just freshly divorced, and she has a sister, Tamara, who is still married and has children. And there was a conversation between the two sisters that I want to share with you guys and get you guys' perspective on it, because before the show started, Lost in Translation had he was very prophetic. All right. He said that misery loves company. And so I want to play this and then we'll address it. All right, here we go.
Wait.
Let me pull this one. Hold on just a second.
Yeah, because y'all.
All right, here we go.
Dancing. Okay. So I have someone watching Cree, and we can just. Something. What? What? I'm just gonna tell you. Like, I don't think I can party with you because. No, Tia, I'm just being honest. I don't think I can party with you. Are you serious? Yeah, because in my mind, you know how we used to be like, Mom, like you're a mom now, and that's how I see it. Like, that sucks, Tamara. No, I know. I mean, moms, just because people are moms doesn't mean that their lives are over. I didn't say that. They can still go out and have fun. You know what? Moms have the best fun. I know it's not right. I'm just saying, mentally, something happens. Like, I'm like, you're a mom. Wow, that really hurt my feelings. Tia! Because you're basically saying I'm not cool anymore. Well, you could be fun. I'm a lot of fun, honey.
The devil's a liar.
I missed it. Could you play it again, please?
I sure will. I got you. Here we go.
Define your term going out. Like maybe go out to go dancing. Okay. So I have someone watching Cree, and we can just. Something. What? What? I'm just gonna tell you. Like, I don't think I can party with you because. No, Tia, I'm just being honest. I don't think I can party with you. Are you serious? Yeah, because in my mind, you know how we used to be like, Mom, like you're a mom now, and that's how I see it. Like, that sucks, Tamara. No, I know. I mean, just because people are moms doesn't mean that their lives are over. I didn't say that. They can still go out and have fun. You know what? Moms have the best fun. I know it's not right. I'm just saying, mentally, something happens. Like, I'm like, you're a mom. Wow, that really hurt my feelings. Tia! Because you're basically saying I'm not cool anymore. Well, you could be fun. I'm a lot of fun, honey.
No.
Hard pass.
Sister Twister.
All right, yeah. So Lost in Translation, I saw you shaking your head. So we'll go ahead with you first.
That was hilarious, man. She tried to guilt her sister into hanging out with her and consoling her. And to that, I have to say,
shame. Shame. Shame.
Walk the trail of King's Landing.
Man, she's so wrong for that. How you gonna take your misery and turn it into, hey, I need some company from my sister? What you need to do is go find you some single friends and y'all do single women stuff.
Or get
that's
you
for your
another man.
sister's married. Let her do her family. That's what she wanted to be married for. She didn't divorce her husband. You did. And an emergency on your part does not constitute one on your sister's part. That's all I'm saying.
All right. So Dusto, what are your thoughts? You muted, brother. You muted. Man, these folks next door, boy, I guarantee they didn't spend $1,000 in fireworks. They've been popping for the last 4 hours. You still muted, Scam. I don't know what's going on with your
I can
Go ahead,
translate.
Jedi. Go ahead.
So you see, you know, these women up these basically, you know, you have both of these sisters, basically two sides of the same coin, literally. But yet, Tamara, I believe I got that one right. The one with the white man. She's actually the one that is actually exhibiting the traits of motherhood, knowing, listen, that time has passed of the whole let's go out and have fun, partying, whatever. And then also, you being a mother does not mean you're not cool. It just means you're in a different type of stage in your life. And the whole thing about me being cool, being on trend, we have to understand that. Look, I'm 25, I'm gonna be 25 years old. I'm married. And I say, oh man, you can't be cool going to the club. Where I'm still cool because I'm married. I got a wife. Well, I'm just in a different stage in my life. Doesn't mean I'm not who I am. I'm just evolved. But what you see with Tia is that saying, okay, I'm gonna bring my sister with me and everything. And this is the also this is a side point. Tyler Perry actually cast Tia's ex-husband and Megan Good in a movie that's gonna be on, I think, on BT Plus about divorcees. You go look that up. It's actually a coincidence, but because Megan Good also got divorced recently too. But yeah, it's just funny that in these stories that with Tia and everything, that she's trying, even with her son, or I think on the recording said, "Mom, why are you wearing that?"
Yeah,
like she's a mother, but acting like she's not where she is in life. Like I think she's like what, almost at her like 35 plus or whatever, in that age and stuff. And I'm like, listen, these violent delights have violent ends, yo. And I understand that. Listen, she thought she was having a win because of like over the divorce that she had, that I've graduated. No, I graduated just recently. I got a degree. You don't have a degree being a divorcee. You lost.
Yeah. Who you say was 35?
It's Tia. How old is she? She got to be 30s.
No, sir. She's 45 years old.
Hell no, bullshit.
She's 45. She's 45.
Shit.
Half a hundo, baby.
Well, that's why I love black women. Shit.
But she's 45. So let's move on to Ricky. What are your thoughts? Because I had to play it again for Ricky. Ricky, what's your thoughts?
My thoughts is why the attempt to make it seem like being a wife was uncool. Being a mother, ain't she a mama? So she basically saying single mothers is cooler than being a wife.
Don't
both of them got kids?
Yes.
Because I could have swore I heard her say she got a babysitter.
I didn't understand the video, honestly, because of that.
Right. So why is you trying to make it because you a single mom that you cooler than a woman who's a mom and a wife?
And also, this is another thing too. On the real, Tamara, she was crying because when her and Tia were growing up on Disney Channel and everything, everyone viewed Tia as being like the hot girl and everything like that. And Tamara said she felt some type of way because she wanted to be the sexy type of girl and everything, right? But look where she is now. You have to understand this. There's such thing as terms of, I guess, delayed gratification or whatever. In terms of like, what I mean by that is that look at where Tamara is now in life compared to where Tia was. Okay, yeah, you can be not being the person everybody looking at when you were younger, but now look at you are. You're the wife. You're the mother. You now have been on the talk show. You're successful. Have all the other things. And yet, just because you weren't where you are younger and thinking, oh, well, Tia had everything. Yeah, she might got it in the short term. But this is when the whole saying, you got access to the candy shop early in life. But now, guess what? Access now been denied because you basically experienced it since day one. When years ago, now they own the candy shop because they waited. They actually invested and put into something.
Yep. So okay, well, appreciate that, man. So because again, I came from Lost in Translation. He was saying that misery loves company. Wife School Podcast. What are your thoughts after watching that between the sisters?
I think that it looks like Tia has somebody in her ear, for real, because the fact that she couldn't hear the logic or the reasoning from her sister, basically they're at the same time in their life, they have children, that she was like, well, maybe I should, stay home or something, like, you know what I'm saying, to fall back. She didn't. She was like, oh, I gotta live life, I gotta be lit. It was just like, it sounded like she has somebody around her that she's listening to, that's probably the same person that told her to leave her husband and that she'll be fine, and that she'll find someone else, because she just it looked like she wasn't letting up. You know what I'm saying? She was like, I'm going to have my way and this is it. And I don't care. And like he said, Lost in Translation said, guilt her. Like, why would you even do that? That's like a low blow. Like, why would you even say that? Like, where did that come from? So I honestly think she has somebody really negative in her corner, like giving her this entitlement that she really doesn't have, because she's like a mom now. She needs to sit down, or
she's 4 years away from 50 years old. I mean, if you want to do all that, I mean, your 20s was there, your 30s, you're almost out of your 40s. So I mean, I don't know. Mr. Bennett said he was confused by the video. Mr. Bennett, what are your thoughts, and what made you confused about the video?
Well, only insofar as that, again, Tamara is currently married with 2 kids.
Yes.
So then she had mentioned about, okay, well, let's go to the club and whatnot. And then Tamara came back and said, well, I don't know if you can go because you're a mom now. But I'm saying you're a mom also. It would have made sense if Tamara was single and she's with her single friends, and Tia's still trying to live that single life, and said, no, you're not single. You're a mom. You can't be clubbing with us the way we do it because we're in the game. But she's married too. So that was the thing that was confusing to me. Why is it that it's cool for Tamara to go out and hang out with her friends, given that she's a mom with kids also, but somehow Tia wasn't? That was the confusing thing to me. That would make sense if that was a single person. You got a single group of friends, and they're looking to go out clubbing. It's like, oh, I want to go out clubbing too. They push back, says, nah, you're a mom now. You shouldn't be clubbing anymore. Your clubbing days are over when we decide to get married and have a kid. Even if you're divorced, I don't know if you should be out there in the clubbing scene anymore. That would make more sense to me. But her response to that's why I didn't understand.
Right, because, and I think I could, bring some clarity to it. So basically, Tia is freshly divorced, right? We all know that. It's all over the news, right? Tamara's married. Tamara's saying, when I go out now, all I get is I'm a mom, right? And you're a mom too, and I just can't party with you anymore, right? I can't get myself to do those things with you that I used to do when we have no kids or no husbands. Like I can't do that with you. And then and then Tia's response was, why not? Just because we have kids don't mean we can't. You know what I mean?
Okay, all right. That would make so basically Tamara has accepted her station in life, and she's comfortable in that. But Tia is still trying to act like she's still 25 and unmarried.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. That makes that certainly makes sense then. But she could have offered something else.
Right.
It would have been like, okay, well, look, we're going to be doing this. You want to come with us or whatever? But if she still wants to do the club scene, then I'd be like, all right, girl, do you then?
Right. Because ever since she's gotten, and I don't know if anybody been watching TV, it's not hard to miss. When you see Tia now, she's drunk on every video. She's drunk. Her brother helping her to the car.
Oh, wow.
She's taking all these pictures naked, laying in the bed. She taking pictures naked in the bed, lying on the floor, taking pictures of herself at 1 o'clock in the morning. You could tell that she's if she's not going to admit it, but she's lonely. And now I think she didn't get out here in this world, and she like, damn, I thought the grass was gonna be greener, but shh.
Yeah, no, it's not.
And I'm using this video to say to people who are average, not these millionaires, but people who are average, to say, hey, you may be in your marriage right now, and you may think it's okay to be up out of it, but the times we're living in right now, you've already admitted, so has your husband said, there was no infidelity. Right? You got on national TV and said, I graduated from my marriage because I felt like there was something else great. She admitted, these were her words, My marriage was great. He's a great man. He was a great husband. He is a great father. I just feel like in my life right now, I needed to graduate from this marriage and do something different. And now, since you graduated, no other college is going to accept you.
Nope.
That's what's happening right now.
If I could chime in too, but because Wife School podcast, Wife School says something very pertinent. She did have somebody in her ear. She did. I think people missed it. She did one of her first interviews, and she said she talked to one of her friends, and her friend, kind of encouraged her to leave her husband. She kind of glossed over that, so a lot of people kind of missed it. She didn't say all that. She said, I talked to a friend, and then she moved on to the next topic, and I said, there it is. Somebody talked her out of her marriage, and we know why she wants to go play the field, but it's just it's going to really hit her when Corey finds another woman. She's going to be destroyed once he finds another woman.
Not a hot woman.
Oh, yeah. It ain't going to take long either.
It's not, and the only reason why he doesn't have one is I think he has more consideration for the kids than she does. And it's another thing also. His son has been not domesticated, but his son is cleaved to his father enough that I don't think he likes what his mother did. Just when he tried to check her on what she was wearing, and and why are you doing this kind of thing,
Right.
And he's
her
old
own
enough.
son, yeah, her son seen she was inappropriate.
Yeah,
And he
so
checked her. Yeah,
he checked that. I mean, he's a young guy, so he knows it's inappropriate for his mother to be doing this, and I think he's probably closer to his father than a lot of people think, and because he's just at that age. What did my father do to deserve what you're doing right now? And she's going to be, it's going to end badly for her one way or the other in terms of her. If she thought she wasn't happy now, you just give it a minute.
She'll be with Bill Murray.
Oh,
he gonna have to fight Khalees for that.
Yeah, you got to fight Khalees for that. Yeah, wow. Khalees said her milkshake bring all the boys to the yard. Now it's spoiled, and now she went to the nursing home and got her a man. Okay, so
insurer.
That's exactly what happened. So Scam, you back now, man. Hopefully we can hear you now if you want to go ahead and say something. But yeah, man, what are your thoughts on this in current terms? Not just for say them, but I'm just saying the way that family can be so attached to you that they can try to detach you. You know what I mean? Because she's really trying to pull her sister away from her duties as a wife, basically, in that conversation. What do you think, Scam?
You either go to the club or you don't. All the other stuff, I don't know these people. Celebrity, and she's an actress. All this could be fake, and she could be married to a 36-year-old.
I understand it. I understand what I'm saying. That's why I said when I posed the question, I asked it this way. In today's terms, where there are women now who will go out and that are miserable, and they've made a decision but made their lives miserable, and they're telling their sister or their aunt or someone close to them, hey, listen, you don't have to. You're a mama and a wife. That doesn't matter. You can still go out and party with me. What are your thoughts on average people who do the same thing we just saw in the video?
They're either gonna go it or not. It's gonna be a problem or it's not. People do what they want to do, and they're not gonna stop. And people are gonna deal with the consequences. Every man ain't perfect. Every woman ain't perfect. They're gonna do what they want to do.
Absolutely. Appreciate that, man. Dr. Nkumbe, what's going on, my brother?
Oh, good evening. Good evening. And please forgive me. I don't know how loud I or
no, you're okay.
My volume. I apologize. I'm on a different setup. Am I
good?
You're
fine.
Good. Thank
you.
You're fine.
You're fine.
Spending time with my pops. I think this YouTube stuff is like crack to me, man. I'm trying to spend time with my pops and still chiming into the show. And then, I want to get in. I want to get in. So I apologize for the briefness. If I may respond, but going backwards, the sisters, I just want to throw out there, in addition to what everyone said, it's a known research phenomenon with twins. They have what's called sibling rivalry.
Scam.
So twins have what's called sibling rivalry. And you can actually get that even without being twins. Let's say one sibling is handicapped, let's say in a wheelchair, and the other one can walk. Now, the one in the wheelchair obviously gets 24-hour or 7-day-a-week care, like physical care. The one in the wheelchair is looking at the one that can walk and is thinking, dang, man, how lucky is that person? They can walk. The one that can walk is looking at the one in the wheelchair thinking, phew, must be nice. You get mom and pop's attention every day. And little do they know, they're developing sibling rivalry. And it's not until later in life, probably when one of the parents pass on, that they say something like, well, you'll probably get everything. What's that supposed to mean? Well, you've been the favorite all this time. Well, how am I the favorite? Every day you get carried in a wheelchair. You think I wanted to be in this wheelchair? You could walk. And they actually realize for the very first time they've had sibling rivalry. Of these twins, if I'm not mistaken, Tamara was born first, like by minutes. Wouldn't seem like much, right?
Right.
No, the phenomenon behind this is you've always been better than me. You've always been before me. And even now I'm divorced and like, come with me, join me, join me, join me. That's probably been the theme of her life for decades, wanting someone to join her because she either feels less than or deals with what's called inadequacy just because they have sibling rivalry. And I'm not sure if they even realize it. So I just wanted to mention that piece about the sisters. As far as the question and happiness in dating, another perspective I would like to add is remember the TV show Survivor? And I think it's still out. Remember when you join a team and they drop you off on an island and your team versus another team? You
Bears
got to try and
Grill
make it back.
Island.
Yeah. Yeah. Remember that? You got to pick fruit. And I think they even have a naked version or whatever. I know I couldn't play that, but they even have a naked version. But the point is, if any one of us were on that team, think about what characteristics you would bring. Why keep you on the team? Either you're a go-getter, you're strategic, you're smart, you're a planner, whatever your characteristics are. Would it be wise to have on your team 2 to 3 people that have the exact same characteristics? Most likely not. That's when it becomes competitive, hint, hint, and you start voting each other off. Whatever those characteristics are on the island, that's how we are in our personal lives as well. If you live in New York and decide to move to Alaska, you take you with you to Alaska. So I'm a therapist all day long, even though I don't want to be. I'm dealing with problems all day long. Why do I want to come home to problems? I don't. But the people I date most likely are fragile, sensitive, fucked up, or have some problems, excuse me. And then that gives me what they call a sense of purpose. I get a sense of purpose in my personal relationships because I'm doing what I love to do. It's not intentional, but I'm a therapist on the island and I'm a therapist in my relationships. Here's the catch. If you are a people pleaser on the island, who do you think you're going to attract? If I'm a therapist all day long, who do you think I'm going to attract? I can want the most sound woman possible, but I magnetically attract the ones that are fragile and have problems. And until I change that, I can go to a bar, I can go to a social club, I can use match.com, looking for love.com, I can get on anything I want, but I still have the same natural characteristics. The same way I was finding happiness on the island, which if you think about it, am I truly happy or am I just content? So the reason we're miserable is because most people don't know what happiness is. And when they get it, they're trying to be happier. And sometimes being too happy is not a good thing. So I just wanted to say for the listeners, consider your personality. Why do I keep getting the same crazy fish? Because you keep fishing in the same crazy pond or lake. And when you throw the fish into the pond, and you can even turn around physically in the boat and cast your line, but it's in the same body of water. So we're going to continue to seek for this version of happiness. But if we really don't have a cool understanding on what it is, and then once we get an understanding, go back to how would you be on the island? Oh, I'm just a natural helper. Then you're going to naturally get people who are going to want to exhaust you and drain you and use you. I'm a strong person. Then you're going to get someone fragile. And when you're like, God damn, can't you stand anything for yourself? What are you talking about? Lead me, baby. So anyway, that's the 2 cents I just wanted to add to the conversation. Thank you.
Absolutely, man. Hey, enjoy your rest of your night, my brother. Thank you for chiming
Oh,
in. I
thank you,
appreciate you,
thank
brother.
you so much for allowing me in the space. I apologize for just jumping in and going, but I appreciate it. You guys take care. Have a good one.
You too, man. You have a good
Crack,
night too,
man. All right,
All right,
peace.
Dr. Nakumbe, everybody. Check him out Thursday right here on Black Men Unfiltered Network at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. Him and Coach K are helping everybody find their way. So y'all come over on Thursday nights at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time for those guys. All right, we got JT in the building tonight. All right, so guys, anybody else want to lend their thoughts on the Tia and Tamara situation and how it can be effective in today's terms on how people make decisions and then they like, I made that decision. Now I need to pull somebody else into it. All right.
Yeah.
And so what do you guys think?
I just got one more thing that Tia is a cautionary tale for guys. When you're vetting a woman, you're courting her, you need to talk to her about this happiness thing. And it's kind of strange because, happiness, we throw it around. Everybody's, happy. We use the word. But if you have somebody, and this probably goes for women too, but if you have a woman or anybody whose life is predicated on staying happy and being happy, or there's something you can never satisfy, right? So when you have this conversation, you don't say, well, you have to have the right kind of conversation to get it out of that person. Because if she has happiness at the top of her scale and since I'm a man, I'm gonna use the woman, at the top of her scale for a satisfying relationship, you got to run because you can't satisfy that. So at some point in your relationship, it's going to be really tough time.
All right, Lawson, you about to hop in on it?
No, here's my thing, man. You ever notice how sometimes some women want to go to the bathroom and then all of a sudden the other one just go with them too?
Yeah.
That's exactly what she tried to do in this particular situation. She tried to get her sister to come to the club with her, you know what I mean, and get in trouble. Now she got to answer to her husband and saying, hey, where you going? I'm going out partying with my sister. What about these kids? What about me? You're supposed to leave and cleave to your husband, not come back and double back to your sister and spin the block. In case she get divorced, you're going to be there for her. That ain't what he signed up for. He didn't ask her to marry her so she can hang out with his sister. Come on, man. That's all that was, man. She just didn't want to be out there alone by herself. But, that's what marriage is for. So you don't have to be out there alone. But she kind of threw her husband away. So she got to get back out there, and earn a new husband. See, she's basically trying to use her sister as a temporary crutch until she can find her a new man. But that's taken away from her own sister's happiness. And, how can you be a good sister if you want to do stuff like that? That's just being selfish.
Absolutely. Jedi Mike, what are your thoughts? You still there? Okay.
He fell asleep. He fell asleep.
He fell asleep. Reckless, go ahead.
It's just like I said earlier. If you do not meet wives in the club, they're gonna want to go back. I mean, they might play right for a little while, but they're gonna go back they're gonna regress to the mean.
Right.
I actually have. It's funny that this clip was used because I actually have a story from this week with my chick. We went out with her friends, and first, Jedi, I think you're a little extreme. I enjoy going out every once in a while with my chick. We go out sometimes, every once in a while, about once a quarter. We do like to go frequent the club, turn up a little bit, have some fun, and go home. That's not every night occurrence. I used to go out a lot, so I know a bunch of DJs. Part of my old social circles in there, and once a quarter I do like to go visit those dudes. I take my chick with me. It's not that big a deal. But
let me, if I could, I can correct myself on that. No, so I didn't say I wouldn't go out. I'm saying that when I'm with somebody, like fraternity brothers and stuff, and doing some, fuck shit, whatever, like we used to.
Oh, okay.
I'm like, yeah. And I was like, oh no, no,
no, we ain't doing that.
It's been a good weekend for me. I'm happy.
Right. Okay. Stand corrected. Thank you for the clarification. But we went out with her friends because she loves going out with my friends. She does not actually enjoy going out with her friends anymore. And we went out with her friends and we were going through the night and it was fine. But one of her friends was single and they were trying to, hype her up so that she would approach some men and potentially get some dates and find herself a dude. Right. And so it devolved into a conversation where they were like, oh, well, what about this guy? This guy's cute. This guy's cute. And the whole time my chick is just getting more and more frustrated, more and more uncomfortable. And they keep trying to include her in the conversation. And I don't care. This is not coming from me. This is not something that I would care about because I was they're talking about dudes that work at a bar. And I'm they ain't me. So like, I have no qualms in this, and I'm just like, I'm trying to like play with them, and eventually it gets to the point where like they stayed out later than she'd agreed to stay out, and she just got mad. She was like, like, I'm ready to roll. Like, let's go. Kind of got them ready to get up out of there. We got her friend back. I was the DD, so they didn't want us to leave before them, obviously. Get them back, and I'm like, so what's your deal? And she was like, I don't like talking about other men. She was like, I don't like speaking on other men when I'm with somebody, period. And she was like, I just don't think I can hang out with them in the fashion that they want. And like, she was like, they make me feel guilty about it. I'm the bad friend because I don't want to speak on other men because I think it's disrespectful. And I was like, I don't care, right? And she was like, that's not the point. I don't like it. So there's a difference between wives and chicks who want to be out. Like, and I mean, that's a small thing, and it's insignificant to me. Like, that doesn't make me, obviously it makes me feel better. Like, there's a higher level of trust there because she self-moderates. But that's one of those things where it's like, that's one of the reasons that people who are in serious relationships or married don't hang out with single people. They're at two different places. And then the single people can't understand because it's like, oh, well, you don't have anybody in your life that you care about that much, that you care about making sure that you're always on that square for that person that much. So you immediately go to shaming the person who could probably put you on game to get what you want. Because out of that group of chicks, there was like one other chick that was married that's been married for a long time. And then there was my chick, but like none of the rest of them have men. It's like nobody else has completed the assignment, but like you want to shame the person who's like, I don't want to indulge in these types of conversations. Like, I'm not on that time anymore. Like it's one of those things that you gotta eat. It makes sense. And it's not just like siblings that do this. It's just single people in general, like to a certain extent, depending on where they're at in their lives.
Right. All right. Well, appreciate that, Reckless. Now, listen, as we go, this is the last video I'm going to show, and we're going to roll this conversation in. We're going to get to the subject of tonight. Chasing happiness will make you miserable. And so we're going to get into that topic. But before we do, guys, thank you for being here. The people who are in the chat right now, thank you for the conversation that you're having here and the fun that you're having. Thank you for being here. Let's keep the conversation going. I see a lot of you guys in here. I didn't call anybody out, but Prototype Dad's in here. Sell You Podcast is in here. Let's see. Sean Bolden is in the building. Marcus Antonio Castillo is in the building. Sir Hell Speaks is in the building tonight as well. T. Shaw. We got so much support tonight. Drina's Haven 916. Thank you for being here tonight. Let's see here. We got my boy Black David in the building. I'll play his video later. We got Emmanuel Williams in the building tonight. Let's see here. I don't want to miss anybody. The World Class is in the building tonight. Thank you for being here. All right. And to you guys on the panel, thank you for being here. You could have been anywhere tonight. It does sound like we're in a war zone, guys. We're not. We haven't flown anywhere where there's war. We just simply have neighbors who like fireworks a little bit more than we do. All right. So if you hear a lot of bang, boom, 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 bang, bang, listen, that's my neighbor next door. Hey, homie, you want to come over and shoot some fireworks? No, not tonight. I'm doing a show, buddy, but y'all go ahead. But anyway, I want to play this video. And we'll start the conversation from there. Here we go. Give me just a second to get us right. All right, here we go. There.
So he said, hey, you married? And I was like, yes. And he said, you happy? And I was like, no, and the reason why I said no was because, one, I'm brutally honest, and two, I was not happy at the time. But what does me being unhappy have to do with whether or not you have a shot? Here's the thing I realized. A lot of married people don't know how to be unhappily married and still not walk away. If you could learn how to be unhappy for a minute, your marriage will last. Because the goal in marriage is not happiness. The goal is to build a lasting relationship that withstands the ebbs and flows of marriage.
All right, I'm gonna play that one more time.
And this guy hit on me, right? So he said, "Hey, you married?" And I was like, "Yes." And he said, "You happy?" And I was like, "No, and." And the reason why I said no was because, one, I'm brutally honest, and two, I was not happy at the time. But what does me being unhappy have to do with whether or not you have a shot? Here's the thing I realized. A lot of married people don't know how to be unhappily married and still not walk away. If you could learn how to be unhappy for a minute, your marriage will last. Because the goal in marriage is not happiness. The goal is to build a lasting relationship that withstands the ebbs and flows of marriage.
All right. So, guys, we'll start with JT. He just came in. I want to get his perspective. JT, what are your thoughts about what you just heard, my brother?
All right, can you hear me, brother?
I can. And thank you for being here tonight, brother.
Oh, my pleasure, man. While I understand where she was trying to go with that, that was just a bad example that she had said. I mean, because it was a guy that asked her, was she happy being married? What does that matter to him? If she says she's married, that's the end of the conversation. Whether she was married, happy, or she wasn't, it was just, it's disrespectful to the marriage. It's disrespectful to her. It's disrespectful to her husband. So, at the end of the day, she could have probably used a better example. Well, I do understand what she was saying. When it comes down to marriage, it's not about happiness, chasing that happiness. It's actually about being joyful. It's about, duty. So it's about being of service to your family, your community, your husband, your wife. So, like I said, I understood exactly what she was saying.
All right. Thank you for that, man. Ricky, what are your thoughts?
You worry about something not making you happy when you go to Disney World and have a bad time. Right? You went to Universal Studios and it was raining. Right? Your relationships are not meant to bring you happiness. Your relationships are not and that's what I told my wife. It's like, it's not my job to make you happy. It's my job not to stand in the way of your happiness. This is what I'll be talking about when people with y'all. Your feelings are yours. I'm gonna keep saying this till y'all get this. Your feelings are yours, and you are entitled to them. You, not nobody else. Anybody else taking your feelings into consideration is a courtesy. You chase too much of anything, it's a bad thing. Happiness, anything, it's a bad thing. Your relationship is not about how can one person make you happy? With the diverse things that most people say, well, I'm this and I'm that, and I like to do this and I like to do that and this. How can one person fulfill all those needs? They can't. It's impossible. Right? Your happiness belongs to you. And when you learn to take responsibility of it, that's when you become a better person. But what do I know?
All right. Dusto, what are your thoughts on what Ricky said in the video? You're muted, brother.
There we go. Can you hear me?
Yeah, you're good now. Yeah.
I'm convinced after the comments and after the video, 15 more women filed for divorce and joined the Nation of Wigwam. They joined the lemon-faced woman from the beginning. They said, you know what, we'll just listen to her. I think people should start chasing misery. I guess they're offering something better. When you sit down in the vows, it's for sickness and health and for absolute misery. And we should lead our wives to absolute misery. Because happiness is not important. It's temporary. It's all this other stuff. The men shouldn't be happy. The kids shouldn't be happy. And we also should invest in psych meds. That's probably going to be the future of America. That's what I got.
So from a religion, I'm gonna let you respond, Ricky. But from a Christian perspective, I'm not gonna say religious perspective, but from a Christian perspective, when you said the vows, when you brought up the vows, all right, that's the only reason I'm bringing this up. When you bring up the vows, there's nothing in those vows that says that you'll be happy.
Cool.
Nothing in there. And I think the reason for that is because even God knows that you're not always going to be happy, not always. That's why in the video, one of the things I agree with what the young lady said is that you have to build a lasting relationship, because in those moments when you're not happy, then what do? Because in most marriages today, when women say they're not happy, they'll find somebody else to make them happy. But what she was saying in the video is, hey, I may not be happy at the moment, but we built a relationship that's so long that's going to stand the test of time that I'll get over it, but I'm not going to do anything to jeopardize my marriage, based on the fact that he can't do something for me right at this moment, at this time, that makes me unhappy. Right. And that's why I think happiness is sometimes it can be very selfish, because people want what they want, and it doesn't matter what the other person can provide or give, or in the season of giving. I want what I want. And I think joy, like I've said this for weeks, I think joy is just the thing that we should strive for, because joy is that thing that you sacrifice. You make sacrifices, and I think sacrifice over happiness is the best thing. And thank you for that prototype, David. I see it. So Ricky, did you want to respond to what Scam said? Then we'll move on to someone else.
Not at all. That's his opinion.
All right. Mr. Bennett, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I kind of they agree with what JT was saying, although I didn't take as much offense with her response saying that, yes, she was unhappy. I think the point of her saying that was, again, to say, well, what difference does it make? You can't respect the fact that I'm married. Like that ring that I got on, that should be like a cross to a vampire, or that you waving the garlic around. I used to when I used to be in the bookstore scoping women, before I would look at her shape, I would look at her back, and then if I could, I would try to look at that ring finger. And if I saw the ring finger, it was like pull up, pull out, and just turn around, and just go the other, because I was scooping in. I was like, I got my prey. I'm going in.
Yeah.
And if she's got the book, and if I see the ring poking, I was like, oh man, I just without her, before I even get within 10, 15 feet, I just try to back out. So for me, marriage was also, and I don't care what's going, crazy stuff going on. Y'all could be dysfunctional or whatever. But if a woman was married, or she had the engagement ring on, or whatever it was, that was just, why walk into that drama? But you got a lot of these guys think they can just, somehow make a situation better. It's just total ego. So I never understood that. But I think it just spoke to me as far as the absurdity of why would you even ask? Well, are you happy? To me, it never made sense. But I think the to the main point of the question is, I certainly agree with you that happiness is not a destination.
Right.
I think it's something that's very short-lived. Anybody who has, if you've won anything, if you come from a sporting background, you won a championship, you won a game, the whatever happiness you might have got from that win is very short-lived, because you got another game after. If you played in any kind of sports tournament, yes, you win the game and you might be happy, but the coach, he's like, all right, I'll see you guys tomorrow morning. And we're going to be running sprints in the morning because you guys played awful today, even though you might have won the game. So this idea of getting to a destination, I think it's a myth. I think we put happiness in those terms. It's like a state that you're always in. But I like the example of the pursuit of happiness, because in that process is what you get out of the process. When you're training, when you're getting better at your game, even if you lose, there's still the contentment that you can have in knowing that you've improved from one step to the next. You might set goals and you may get 75, 80% of those goals. So, but it was never necessarily about the goal. The goal just got you on a path so you can do some better things, some discipline, some things you might have had to cut out, things that weren't good for you anyway. And then you find yourself in a situation where you're better off overall. So I think the pursuit of happiness actually, I think for a lot of people, if you have the right perspective, I think it's a good thing. Because again, we shake off a lot of stuff. Look, I may not be perfect, but I'm certainly not the person that I used to be, as oftentimes it's been explained to me. And so I think that process, even in marriage, where you're always looking to do better. Yes, you're going to have your disagreements. Yes, you're going to have those times when she just gets on your nerves, or he gets on your nerves. But again, it's still the marriage itself is above everything. And so you work through it. And yes, you will have those moments of joy. You will have those things that you might have thought about 5 years ago, and you can laugh at it because you guys got through that. It's like, oh, that was so stupid from, why we, that was so stupid that we went through that. So again, I think that is ultimately, again, keeping the marriage together, again, for better or worse, but can you ride those things out so it can get better? So no, I don't believe that, it's about constantly being miserable. But I think you go through some things to improve. When I worked out, like I said, I had leg day this last Wednesday. I was not happy in the workout. I wasn't happy after the workout. And when those DOMs set in the next day, I was less happy still because I could barely walk. But by the next time I'm ready to train, all right, let's go. And let's put a little more weight on the bar, because now I can do more because of it. So I built up to get to the next level. So I think if we the pursuit, putting the work in and letting the results fall where they may, and you look back and see how much you progressed, how things that used to bother you years ago don't bother you anymore, that you can laugh at stuff that that used to bother you before. I think that is, what's most important. But trying to live in this constant honeymoon stage, that's gonna fade probably by the end of your honeymoon. It may wear off, but you keep going back and you keep building better. And like I said, I know me, I'm in season 27, so I am at my happiest, if you want to quantify it, now than I was certainly at year 5, year 7. We had some growing pains to go through, but we kept with it. And now there's just such a comfort and ease with one another that it just gets better all the time. And now that we're almost empty nesters, hey, we got another life to look forward to.
All right. Thank you for that perspective, Mr. Bennett. I appreciate that. Lost in translation. Talk to me.
I think the reason why she said it that way, or the reason why he asked, is because at some point in time that actually worked. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He said, "Hey, are you happy with your marriage, baby?" and it would have worked. She was like, "Not today." But what can I do to make it happy? Make you happy, baby. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That type of thing. I assure you, at some point in time, that line worked, or he wouldn't have used it.
Right.
That's just how men are. They're not going to continue to use something that don't work. But in her case, what she was saying, basically in this case, she was, educating this young man, saying, "Hey, look, just because I ain't happy don't mean, you got a shot at me, or I'm willing to cheat." You know what I'm saying? So that's a good way to look at it or whatever, and being more realistic, because even Michelle Obama said it was 10 years that she was with Barack, she wasn't happy with him. Now, we don't know which 10 those years were, but that's irregardless. But you're not going to be completely happy all the time. You know what I mean? That's why you're supposed to give each other grace and mercy from time to time. That's all that is, man. Life is not perfect, and your journey is not promised to be perfect. So as long as you guys stick together, you know what I mean, give each other a little grace and try to look at it from each other's side of the track from every now and then, and it should work. It should work. That's how I look at it. But as far as him saying, "Hey, are you happy?" I promise you, that worked somewhere along the line. But she was just letting him know, "Hey, that don't work with me." That's all that was.
Absolutely, man. I appreciate that perspective. So, Reckless, what are your thoughts?
Man, happiness is the most fleeting thing on the planet. Like, we don't even know what happiness is because we don't have enough historical states of peace to where people got to explore these things fully.
Mm-hmm.
So that in and of itself, it's. I don't know anyone who's been married a long time that was just happy the entire time. Like, it's called the honeymoon phase for a reason. The issue is people date until the honeymoon phase wears off, and then they have to graduate into something else. They get married until the honeymoon phase wears off, and then they gotta go find that honeymoon phase again, versus working through the phases of being together, which happiness, it's an ebb and flow. You're going to be happy sometimes. Like, I mean, if you're with somebody and you're just, there's never a bright spot, then that's a problem. But then how did you get married in the first place? Like, you showed up and you were just like, I'm miserable. But I mean, actually, women do this all the time. Actually, women and men do this for two different reasons. Women do it to get into a certain a lifestyle, and men do it to keep a woman that looks good. And you'll just be absolutely miserable, both of y'all up in here with two different flavors of demon, and you just keep pushing through it. And you know, eventually it crashes out, and you out in these streets, and then you're mad talking about submission, or you mad talking about these dudes ain't nothing and nobody's on their square. That men can't be trusted. Like, yeah, we get it. But the thought of just solely pursuing happiness, like, have you ever just sat down? Because I've done this before, because I have problems. I like candy, specifically peanut butter cups. But there's this one candy in specific that I get from the Amish, because if those of you who don't know, the Amish are the best bakers on this planet in the United States of America. God bless the Amish. And they make these cake bites, and I love them. And they sell them in these packs, and you can get like 6 or a dozen. And I should get 6, but every time I go by this shop that sells them, I get a dozen. And I will sit down, and I've eaten those until I've thrown up because I'm irresponsible. But you know what? I was really happy because they're the best thing ever. And like, it's one of the few things that I've ever thrown up that I'll continue to eat. Like, they're great, but they're very rich, but they bring you so much joy. You get into them and like, you just pop them because it's just like, pop, and like, it's the best thing ever. That's what it would be like if you had constant happiness. Like, you would be sick. You couldn't actually, you know who knows exactly what it's like to have too much happiness? People who are on the nose powder. Because what that does is it dumps all the dopamine in your brain, so you experience total bliss. The issue is if you become addicted to that, it burns out your dopamine gland. So then your brain just stops producing it on its own, because it's like you're putting this chemical in here that substitutes for it, so it stops. So then when they quit, their brain doesn't produce dopamine ever again in some cases. So then they live the rest of their life and they pretend to be normal, but normally at some point they have the highest self-deletion rate of darn near any drug. Like it happens, and it happens randomly. Like, they'll be fine for years, but the issue is they've gone this whole time never feeling joy again. So like, they have families, they do what they're supposed to do, they run the program, and they never get that hit of dopamine again because they've stopped doing the drug. And then they can't subsist. So like, you're not going to constantly be in this Disney state of bliss. Like, it's not possible. It's not real. That's not how life works. But we've gotten so tied up in that honeymoon phase feeling that people just go into relationships for that phase. And as soon as that goes away, they go find the honeymoon phase again. And they run through all different kinds of people doing damage, getting that honeymoon phase. And then they become so addicted to that honeymoon phase that they can't have real relationships, because all they know is that hit of the honeymoon phase. And if it's not constantly the honeymoon phase, then this isn't working. And relationships, serious long-term ones, and marriages are, all that stuff happens post the honeymoon phase. The building together, the understanding, the knowing a person comes post honeymoon phase. So you're not even getting to the actual good part, because you're talking about you need to be constantly happy, constantly engaged, constantly entertained. Your significant other is not there to entertain you. They have a whole existence too, and you together have an existence together. You're not someone to be entertained. You're not a child. Children need to be entertained. So the pursuit of happiness, 100%. If all you're looking for is that honeymoon dopamine hit, that quick fix, that constant state of bliss in your relationship or your marriage, you are going to be miserable, because it's not real. You're looking for something that doesn't exist.
Man, appreciate that. Prototype Dad, thank you for being here tonight, brother. I want to get your perspective before we move on to Mr. Payne and the Wife School podcast. Go ahead.
All right, man. Hey, appreciate it being here. So the "Are you happy?" thing, right? So she said that because whoever was asking that question, and I think I put it in the chat, but the man asking her that question wasn't a better option than her husband. Surely, if that dude would have been a better option, let's say she has a crush on an R&B singer, you know what I mean, and she went to that concert, and she wasn't happy, and that R&B singer was like, seeing you in the crowd, come backstage, you know what I'm saying? That answer is not the same. You know what I'm saying? Surely she would have made a move, jumped on another monkey branch or whatever. You know what I'm saying? So the women are funny like that, where, you know what I'm saying, you got to make them happy. You got to be their best option every day. You know what I'm saying? So if you're their best option, and that's where their loyalty kind of lies. You know what I'm saying? Even if they're unhappy, but if they see, they'll stay unhappy in a situation if they can't pull a guy with a higher status. You know what I'm saying, or something like that. But that's really it. As for men, shoot, be happy every day. You know what I'm saying? It's our world out here. It's a man's world, man. Go out and be happy day in and day out. Nobody got time for this depressed. I'm not happy today ish. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to be the guy to be like, I can't wait till Friday, or I can't wait till the holiday. I enjoy every day, every moment of it. You know what I'm saying? So pick something. Like, if you hate anything about your life, man, change it. It really ain't rocket science. You know what I'm saying? All this, you're not going to be happy every day, or, man, that's rubbish, man. I'm happy every day. You know what I mean? And that's just how I live my life. And I guess it's just a matter of perspective. But I don't waste time with, being sad or unhappy, or, man, I hate this or I hate that. That's for the birds, man. Keep all that. But
So
women might be unhappy.
What do you do what is necessary every day then? Like, what about when you wake up and you're like, I don't feel like going to work, you just don't go?
If I don't feel like going, I love my job though. I love what I do. So,
but what I'm saying is, you can love what you do, but you're telling me you don't wake up some days and you're tired and you're like, I don't feel like doing this.
No, because
that never happens to you.
Never. I want to do what I want to do. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
And my career is doing something I want to do. I'm happy getting up in the morning and starting my day. I love what I do. You know what I mean? So I don't have to take a vacation from my life ever. Like, my life was amazing. I mean, it wasn't always like that. I worked to be that. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
But
all right.
As I am right now, I don't hate what I do. I work from home. I roll up from my bed, come sit at my laptop, you know what I'm saying, in my drawers. Like, you know what I mean? I got a hot little wife that walks around, in nothing at all. So, you know what I'm saying? I got entertainment all day. I'm good. And that's what you got to set up your life the way you want to make it. You know what I'm saying? So
Right,
it is
right.
what it is.
Well, no, that's fair. But I mean, like, work is work for a reason. Like, I don't know. I find that interesting. Like, I don't know. I don't think the men that built nations, the men that leave marks on this planet, are happy every day. Like, I don't know. I know for a fact that, like, a person who needs to be happy competing with a person who has a need to do what needs to be done, the person who needs to be happy loses that battle every time. Like, a lot of the stuff we have, a lot of the people that made those things had to go through a lot of arduous stuff where they weren't necessarily happy. But I mean, I guess it's subjective. Like, I don't work from home, but I also do a job that's, like, partially physically demanding. I own a business. I have employees. I have people that answer to me. So there's a lot of stress on that. If I don't perform, those people don't eat. Like, I guess it depends on the level of burden that you're carrying in that perspective. The other thing that I was going to ask you about was when you
don't discredit my life.
I'm not discrediting
because you're not doing it. You are like,
No.
it depends on the level of burden that you have. No, it really don't have nothing to do with that. It's a matter of mind frame and perspective. You hate what you do, that's you. You hate what you do, or you don't like certain parts of it. Me per se, I set my life up in a way where I love everything I do on the daily. You know what I'm saying? I like to lift weights. I lift when I want to. I go ride bikes. I go play football. I go hoop after when I get off of work. I get massages at the house. Like, I live the way I freaking want to. You know what I'm saying? So the way you want to live, hey, if you're not happy doing it, that's you. But
I mean,
discredit me.
It's subjective. It's subjective though, because, like, the grind is
anecdotal. It's not subjective. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, your experience is yours and mine is mine.
Exactly. Okay,
You know what I'm
all
saying?
right, that's fair. So the lifestyle thing, my other point was the lifestyle piece of it. You're saying that, I guess, so like I'm just going to assume because everybody's a high value man on the internet that at a certain level, you're telling me that like if the R&B singer approaches a girl and her dude's an R&B singer, that she's like, yep, jump and ship. I'm not happy today.
Oh, for women? Yeah. You got to be their best option every day. If you're not the best option
But what if
in
it's
their
the
life
same?
every day?
What if it's the same option though? Like, I mean, like after you get to a certain echelon in lifestyle, like these women are not leaving. Like I'm in that lifestyle. Like, I'm around those people. Those women
So
don't
I mean, they're not going to run. If you're a good option, they're not going to run into a better. It's harder for them to run into a better option to jump from. You know what I'm saying?
But what I'm saying is, like in most of the situations, especially if you're talking in a certain tax bracket, these women actually go to worse options to be happy. If you're going on that basis, they're just like, oh, it's similar, but like at that point you're moving like a little downgrade, or you're not in that realm anymore, and you want to be back out in the streets, and you're like, I'll just find something better, and then you don't.
Nah, bro. Like I said, you got to be well rounded. Just having bread don't make you uncorny. Like, you know what I'm saying? If you're corny, you're corny.
Well, that's totally fair.
That's
a totally fair assessment, and that I agree with you in the sense that those women that get with those dudes are getting with them for the lifestyle. So those women are on market at all times. Like those women do step out regularly.
All women are on market at all times.
I mean,
So what you saying? Let me ask you something. Wife School Podcast. Wife School Podcast. Just for entertainment purposes here. Let's say you and Prototype Dad you and Lost in Translation were married. And you said, I'm going to a Tyrese and Tank and Anthony Hamilton concert. And while the concert was going on, Tyrese looks down and said, have I come to the back tonight? Right? And Wife School, and Wife School, you get back there and Tyrese pull you in and he said, hey, are you lonely tonight? And you're gonna be like, what would you say?
I would say I would be really nervous, and I'd be like, "No, I'm married. I'm married."
No, that's not the right answer.
That's right.
The right
and
answer.
then he says, "Well, how?" Yeah, he said. Then he takes. Then he gets real and be like, "Hey, listen, tonight I want you to stop by my room."
Now you know what they do and what they say.
Well, first of all, it's the wrong answer because she wasn't supposed to go in the back in the first place.
I'm very turned off. Me personally, I am turned off a man that puts his thing out there first. I really don't.
Put his thing out there first.
He didn't say that.
Yeah,
he didn't say that.
You leave with that. I am turned.
He didn't. That's not what BMU said. He didn't say that. He didn't put his thing out. He wasn't perverted.
He went to invite you to his room for a few drinks.
No.
Sweet lady.
What they do and what they say is two different things.
Thank you, Mr. Prototype, for being very negative.
Prototype just lives in a world where everybody's a 304, apparently.
So Prototype, what you're saying is that when it comes to women, and if their favorite artist, say for instance it is Tank or somebody crazy, right? Say for instance, and he's singing, he points down in the audience, and he says, "Come up here on stage," and he, grabs her and whatever, because a lot of artists do that. A lot of male artists will pull women up on the stage and grind with them and touch them, and wives, a whole bunch of rings getting rubbed on, right?
When I wasn't married, this group was in Boston performing, and I was like, I'm getting up there. Now I was intentional with that, but I didn't have any husband. I was young, and they was like, anybody know out there know about love? I said, I do, and they was like, come up here, girl.
Wow.
I got up there for me, okay?
Y'all see her reliving this, right? Y'all see this, right? Y'all see this live. She's reliving.
It was PG.
She's painting the whole picture for us. Like she is reliving this.
Okay.
On a single way, not with a man, because that's just totally different and being disrespectful.
Right. So the thing would be, how many women have accepted that invitation while their husbands were sitting there? Right? Say for instance,
that
this
wouldn't work with
happens.
me.
This happens. So you and your wife together, and Tank come down with his shirt off, and he throwing that sweat all over your wife, and your wife slides down to that damn chair, right? And pulls and grabs your wife's hand, and your wife said, "Oh, I'll be right back, baby. Hold on, I'm so sorry."
No, that ain't gonna work
Right,
with me.
right.
There's a home in the house tonight.
No,
Right,
that ain't gonna work with me.
right? And so those kind of things happen, and I think that women do get, because I remember a young lady I used to work with years back. She said she went to, that's when the Super Bowl was in Dallas, and she said she went to a nice little all-white party, and she said everybody just started, oh my god, oh my god, oh my, and she was like, who's that? So she walked. Her husband was one of the people that worked. His company was sponsoring it, so she had an invitation to be there, and she said Prince walked through the door.
Oh, I love Prince.
And she said, and this is what she said to everybody at the job. She had pictures with him and everything to prove that she wasn't lying. And she said Prince came over, and she said, oh my God, I got to go over and touch him or something. Right? She said she shook his hand, and she said when she shook his hand, she said immediately she got wet enough to have these are her words. I got wet enough to fuck him on that piano. And she said, I told my husband, if he asks me, if he want me to do anything, baby, is it okay with you? She said she asked her husband that. I said, and everybody's like, what did your husband say? She said her husband said, you already know the answer to that. But so that's to prototypes. Most women will bend just a little bit when they get around their favorite actor, like The Rock or somebody come out and be like, hey, you know what The Rock cooking? A lot of them gonna turn the stove on. A lot of them gonna turn the stove on.
So is it bad to get a picture with them, like to say, hey, proof, like you know how people all the time, I took a picture with
No, you can get a picture. It's as long as you ain't trying to.
I mean, I ain't trying to toot my booty
Press
out
up
and
on
bug
them,
them
you know what I'm saying?
and all that. I'm like, hey, you know how the Koreans do.
So that's, to be fair, I'll do it vice versa as well. Remember the young man who Janet Jackson called out the audience that was singing with his girl, and she put him on stage and rubbed his penis and grinded on him and put her vagina in his face and kissed him all under the neck. That man was sitting there just shaking.
Yeah.
Right. He didn't know what to do. And his wife sitting there like, damn, like, really? Whoa. Okay. You know, so it happens both ways. I don't think men are not getting picked enough out of the audience to do that. But that particular guy, I don't know what happened with his wife, because she probably would never be able to do what Janet did to him that night.
I don't think she got to set up at the house like that.
Lost in translation, honey, will you go on the stage with Janet?
Uh-oh.
For what?
So if you're married to Wife School Podcast and Janet says, and Janet looks in the audience and say, you, the yellow-skinned beautiful man, could you come on stage with me? What are you saying, Lost in Translation? You gonna turn
I ain't
Janet
doing
down?
that. I ain't doing that.
So we're gonna see you on video
I ain't
doing
doing
this.
that, man.
You're gonna see you doing this to Janet.
No.
You sure? You
No,
positive?
Janet can't divorce me.
I can't
You
do
know
it.
what I'm saying?
Janet
Janet can't divorce me. You know what I'm saying?
See, you see, Lost in Translation got it messed up because Janet Jackson wanting you is going to make your wife want you even more. That's just how they function.
He got a
women
point.
like women who can get other women. Women like men who get women. So if you can pull her idol, then she'll act accordingly after that. Like, man, my man just pulled my idol.
Yeah, but what if he can turn her
Especially
down?
singing in Velvet Rope
That man
song.
got some integrity.
Like that is just for entertainment purposes.
Exactly.
I mean, but we're talking we're isolating solely on stage and light effects, and as somebody who's performed on the stage with the lights, he is 100% correct in that respect. Everyone's correct. Like stage and lights messes with people's brains because like you're a minion and you're looking up at a god, so that makes sense.
Now I have one more.
That makes total sense in that respect.
I have one more. I got to get his perspective. Mr. Bennett, your daughter invites you and your wife to a concert. You're sitting on the front row. She invites you guys to a Megan Thee Stallion concert. And Megan Thee Stallion says, hey, you, get your fine ass up here so I can twerk this ass on you. Mr. Bennett, we're going to see you on camera. Saying,
not happening. I'm going to put my arm around my wife. And be like, nah, you ain't got this here, and leave it alone.
See, told you.
He said he gonna cleave. He said he gonna cleave
now,
to his wife.
Man, are you doing the same?
I don't know. I can't even answer that truthfully.
Hey, at least
You were
honest.
just trying to shove me on stage a minute ago.
Exactly.
I would probably go. I'm probably going.
You
know
gonna
what
look
I'm
back at your wife, or you gonna just?
No, I'm gonna answer to her. But I'm probably going. You know what I'm saying? But I don't know. It just depends on how that move. Like I don't know. Meg kind of fine. I'm probably going.
Well, listen. Actually, I'm about to find out because in August, my wife and I will be going to see Lionel Richie, and that's her dream man from the '80s and whatnot. So we're about to
You
find
setting
out.
yourself up for a problem.
We're about to find out. We're about to test the marriage. So I'll get back to you on that one.
Dancing on the ceiling, Lionel Richie.
Mr. Bennett, now when you
Easy
get
like
that,
Sunday
Mr.
morning, Lionel Richie.
Yeah, Mr. Bennett, you get that? He got them pants pulled all the way up, and he said, "You're easy like Sunday morning."
Oh, girl.
You right there, girl. You right there. No, not you, bald head guy, but the lady beside you. What's your name? Come on stage, baby. Let me sing to you, Mr. Bennett. If your wife get up, we're gonna see a fist fight between you and Lionel Richie.
Yep.
You're gonna go viral. Your channel's gonna blow up,
You can't
man.
get mad. You just replace them. You know what I'm saying? You don't get mad. You just replace.
I can see Mr.
Calm
Bennett.
down, sir. She got value.
Yeah,
she has value.
We on the shade room. I'm seeing Mr. Bennett pulling Lionel Richie hair, pulling him down the damn thing.
So.
Y'all
I
close to the stage.
Mr. Bennett gonna tell your wife, "Hello, it's me you're looking for."
So, oh my
Why
God.
I'm easy.
So look, Mr. Payne,
Yes, sir.
you and your wife together, and Janet Jackson pull you on stage and rub oil all over your head and rub your chin.
That was so awesome.
Are you going to go up there, Mr. Payne, or are you staying down?
You know what? I don't know how to answer that. You know, I probably wouldn't. You know, even in the best days, I wouldn't go. I mean, Janet's okay. She's kind of small for my taste.
Oil is involved.
Kind of small.
Oil is involved, sir. Oil.
So what?
I said
Wouldn't
oil
it
is
be better
involved,
for the
sir.
man to go on
Hot
stage
oil.
because they're not like emotionally driven by that type of stuff more so than the lady?
Well, I don't know now, because if Janet get you on stage and tie you down like she did old boy, I mean, she grabbed this penis, she had a handful of nuts and penis.
Oh my God.
She was kissing the man, licking his neck, put her vagina in his face, and rolled around on top of the man's face. He smelt all that vagina. And so my thing is, I'm like, damn. I mean, she went up his leg. Then she had the people do the little table, lay it down, and she just got on top of him like she was riding him and stroking him out. I was like, oh my God, she finna kill this man. And the whole time she doing it, he like this. He's shaking.
He was gone.
He was gone, bro. His wife sitting out there like, ain't nothing I can do about this. When we get in the car, this man probably ain't gonna have sex with me for the next few weeks. He ain't gonna want to take a shower. He gonna want to smell that vagina in his face for the next week.
My God!
Oh my God!
It was
Good
that
Lord.
like two. It was that 2 after. Was that 2 hours into the concert or at the beginning?
Oh, hey, that makes a difference. But you know what? Even like Jill, even it was an old school artist back in the day, Mr. Ben. I'm trying to think of her name that would go out into the audience and grab men between their legs and kiss them in the mouth.
Millie Jackson.
What's her name?
No,
Millie Jackson.
Yeah, Millie Jackson was
raunch.
Man,
she brought the raunch to it.
Yeah, you can find that on YouTube. It's Millie Jackson.
Walk right up to your
this
man.
one song.
Yeah, she walked right up to your man while she's singing and just grab a whole chunk full of peanuts in her hand.
Wouldn't
And she
surprise
would
me
do
if
her
Grace
thing.
Jones do that also.
Yeah. So, all right, man. Well, so the question is, guys, does chasing happiness make you miserable? So prototype that. So, I mean, what do you think? Do you think that chasing this constant chasing of the happiness will make you miserable?
No, not in my life. You know what I'm saying? You set your life up to be happy.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? Day by day, piece by piece, man. So no, I don't think so. It makes you happy.
All right. Scam Likely, do you agree or disagree with prototype that?
Chasing happiness is common sense, but you can always chase misery. You might actually catch it.
So do you disagree with the concept of joy over happiness? Do you disagree with that?
I'm gonna say it.
What's the difference?
You gotta move the goalpost so far that I don't know what joy and happiness even are anymore. But I know I ain't chasing misery. and I'm gonna be chasing happiness. I'll be chasing joy, and I'm good.
Okay. Now he asked what the difference is. I had it here because I used it on a Security Boss show. We spoke about this, had a conversation about this. So I'm going to find it here because I still have it here, and I'll let you know. I'm gonna tell you what it is in a minute here when I find it. And shout out to Security Boss. She's in the chat tonight. Let's see what I got here. All right, while I'm looking for it, let's move. Let's see. No, that's not it. While I'm looking for it, guys, what about you, Lost in Translation? Do you think that chasing happiness consistently will make you miserable?
Here's my thing about this is how I look at happiness. Happiness is like temperature. You know what I mean? I'll give you an example. In the wintertime, 80 degrees in the house is a fantastic thing when it's like -4 outside. It's all about perspective.
Right.
Now, if it's 80 degrees in the house and it's 90 degrees outside, you know, it's still hot. You know what I mean?
Right.
You don't appreciate the cold until it's hot. And you don't appreciate the hot till it's cold. You know what I mean? You got to have a good perspective on it, man. Happiness is something that you strive for, but it's hard to maintain. You know what I mean? It's kind of like a thermostat in the car. You want to make sure that thing is right somewhere in the middle. You don't want to get to the point where you get too high, or you don't get to the point where it's too low. You know what I mean? Happiness is one of those things that means more when you've experienced misery from time to time. It just feels better when you experience happiness that way. And sometimes when you experience happiness to an extreme high, and when you finally hit that low, then when you get down, you say, you know what, it's really not that bad. You know, because I've had, better days. You see what I'm saying? So in its proper perspective, yes, you can pursue happiness, but chasing it all the time is pretty much pointless instead of you enjoying the journey. Like my man Prototype say, you have to be, enjoy it every day. Enjoy each and every single day, because tomorrow is not promised. You know what I'm saying? It's not promised, but you got to keep everything in this perspective. You know what I mean? Just, you can never be too high, never can be too low. But when you do experience it, enjoy it. And when you don't have it, you always have something to look back on when you're going through the miserable part of life sometimes.
All right.
That's all.
So let me go on this one real quick.
One second, Arpain. I want to answer a Prototype question. I'm going to let you cook right after. It says happiness. I found it. It says happiness is an emotion in which one experiences feelings on an individual level, ranging from contentment and satisfaction and bliss and intense pleasure. Joy is a stronger, less common feeling than happiness. Witnessing or achieving selflessness to the point of personal sacrifice frequently triggers this emotion. Shout out to Dr. Nkumbe. So that was the difference between the two.
Well, you need both. You need both, on the daily. Like, you got to sacrifice some things, but your sacrifice shouldn't be a problem, because if it's for the greater goal. It's something about enjoying the process.
Yes.
Yeah. There you go.
So we agree. Like, we're in agreement.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like, yes, you want to do X, Y, Z, right? But there's a process to get to X, Y, Z. You gotta go through all the other letters in the alphabet. But if you enjoy the letters, you know what I'm saying? There's joy and happiness throughout the process, to where you get there, you're like, I'm really happy. Not like, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
So it's about enjoying the process of whatever you're doing. You know what I'm saying? So
absolutely appreciate it. Pain.
Just like our Constitution talks about life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. The key word is the pursuit of happiness, right? In your life, you have a right to actually pursue the happiness the things that satisfy you, as long as they don't impact other people, or in a negative way, right? So, I mean, you just take this, and when I look at that, I just think those are the things that we probably need to get back to in a lot of ways on the way we live. I mean, we have all this conflicts and stuff going around, but even in our Constitution, it's a recognition that, if you're an American citizen, you would have your right to life, your right to liberty and freedom. But the key word in happiness is the pursuit of it, because there's no guarantee that you'll ever get there, right? So, but you have the right to pursue it. So in your marriage, one of the things you kind of do is, you pursue happiness in your marriage by your partner or your wife, your husband giving you the grace to pursue the things that keep you satisfied. And some of those things you can do together, and some of those things you can do separately. And all you got to do is recognize the difference between those two. And as long as you're not impacting your partner or your husband or wife negatively, you just keep doing it. And
Right.
I think that's some of the keys to a long marriage, and where you don't get in each other's way.
All right, I appreciate that. So I've asked Mr. Payne. He's given his perspective. Prototype Dad has given his. Mr. Bennett, what are your thoughts? Is chasing happiness, will it make you miserable?
No, it will not. As I said earlier, and I think I'm agreeing with what's been said also, I think that's what makes you better. I think that's what builds you as a man. It gives you something to shoot for. And I quote, from the scriptures, Paul talked about that, Philippians chapter 3. It says, not that I have attained or I'm already perfected, but I press on that I may take hold for which Christ has laid upon me. So the idea is, it's like, I'm never going to be perfect in this life. That doesn't mean that I don't stop trying. That doesn't mean I stop striving to get there. And I take the consolation in the process of accomplishment. And that is what I, lay my head on today. Did I give it my best that day? Results or whatever, that's, usually, and this is what I raise my kids on. It's like, I told my kids very early on, I really don't care about your grades. I never put a lot of emphasis on that, but I care about your effort. Were you grinding? Did you do what you were supposed to do? Did you get to study in? If you do the work that you're supposed to do, the grades will take care of themselves. So I never stressed out over that. So they came on with a C or whatever. It all went back to, well, what did you do? Now let's get this thing going, and the grades to just kind of work themselves out. So again, we need to teach, especially young people, to fall in love with the process. The process is good for you. That's what's going to mature you. That's how you grow. Failing is part of the process. Getting knocked down, obstacles, overcoming stuff. Well, I was on a broadcast the other night that were talking about, suffering is a bad thing. No, that's got to be part of death. Is part of this process. People die, right? The world dies. Entropy is part of the human experience. So you have to learn how to live with it, and that's why you don't take for granted what you have, because you don't know. You're not guaranteed that you'll be able to pursue that tomorrow. So again, what you do with today, I think is most important. And again, every day above ground, you have to look at is a good day, and you can go on and do some other things with it. So absolutely, I think we need to get off this idea of living on Happy Island or whatever, but be proud of the person that you're becoming or growing every day. Fall in love with that, and I think you'll see a lot better outcomes and people not going around feeling unhappy because they're chasing something that's not real.
All right, trust in the process. All right, so we got Reckless, we got our Payne, we got Prototypes, we got Mr. Bennett. All right, Wife School Podcast. Chasing happiness, will it make you miserable from a woman's perspective?
From a woman's perspective, yes. It will make a woman miserable. As we can see, they're never satisfied with anything. And even if they had everything, they want somebody else that can give them more. Okay. I think that from a woman's perspective, we should chase the opposite, like contentment. Because whether we have a lot, or like if we're in a marriage, or whether my husband is struggling at that moment, I'm content. I'm not going to downgrade him, downplay him, because I perceive that my happiness is being affected by that, but I am content with the fact that, okay, maybe this is just a season. He's working towards something. I'm going to work towards him with that. I am content where I'm at. I'm grateful that I have him. If it takes a woman's mind somewhere else, instead of being more emotional based, and it takes her to a more logical base, which we need more of, because a lot of the women, they're not thinking like that. And they and are exiting marriages and relationships based on that emotion instead of being content. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying being content with an abuser, but like that contentment when you are at your high, You know what I'm saying? You can appreciate it, like Lost in Translation said. You can appreciate it whether you have a lot, whether you have a little. You know how to do when you have a lot. You know how to do. You know it. We have to have contentment, and I think that's where a lot of women should start really coming from in terms of trying to strive and make their marriage lasting, because it wouldn't put such an unrealistic emotional burden on their other partner that they're not fulfilling this fake happiness.
All right. Thank you for that. Before we move on to Lost in Translation, I don't know who got the Spanish. I don't know who got the Mexican background music going on. I'm over here about to vibe to it.
That's me.
Man, they is jamming, man. But before we move forward, I want to get these super chats out of the way. And then Prototype Dad, somebody did a message that's something you said earlier, so we're going to talk about it. SBU in the building with the $10 super chat. She said, love to BMU, the panel, and the chat. Thank you so much, Security Boss, for that. And then we had Andre Dale in the building tonight. He said, happiness is a byproduct of my joy. The joy of the Lord is my strength as a result of what's in me. As Paul said, I think myself happy. Inside job. All right. Thank you so much for that $5 super chat. I appreciate you guys. All right. Then we have T. Shaw that said this Prototype. She said, I wouldn't have a problem with my husband being on stage with Janet. It's called fantasy. I would go home and try to do the same thing she did. That's what Prototype said earlier, that the women would go home and definitely try to, it'll make them more.
Hang on. I want to get White School. I want to get your reaction to that one.
So I'm gonna get the cage set up.
Cage.
Oh my God!
Wow. He gonna be like, baby,
it's just I'm just the only girl up there. I'm just having fun.
Why don't you buy a fencing kennel? What is this on Amazon? What is this? But thank you so much, you guys, for the super chat. Thank you, T. Shaw, for telling us that. I appreciate it. Now T. Shaw did say something about her husband. She said, my husband took a picture with Lisa Ray when she was in Dallas. Why he didn't call me? His arms were around her waist. He showed it to me, and I had no problem with it. But if I would do that, it would probably be a problem. Absolutely.
Lisa Ray. Wow.
Wow. Hey, Mr. Bennett. Whoa, I saw something in you, Mr. Bennett.
Wow.
Uh-oh.
Waist Lisa Ray. This is the what was that movie that she got famous in? I forget the
Players Club.
Damn. It's time to hit that pop. So Lost in Translation. Look at JT. What are your thoughts? Chasing happiness, will it make you miserable?
In its proper perspective, it shouldn't. You know what I mean? It shouldn't. It gives you direction. I put it to you like that. It gives you direction where you want to be and where you want to go. But my thing is this: if you don't obtain it every single day, don't let it bum you out. Reset, restart, start all over again. Because I assure you, there will be days that you do not expect. There'll be days when you get outside and you got 2 flat tires, or windows busted out, or you get pulled over and get a ticket. You know what I mean?
Those type of things. With, Lost? What kind of woman they messing with, man? Go ahead.
You know what I mean? There will be days like that, but you still have to lean on some of the good days. You see what I'm saying? So the more good days you add up and you stack up, the better off you'll be when you come across the bad ones. You know, a good day is like holding on to a rope. A good day is like a knot in that rope. It gives you something to hold on to when the storms of life are blowing, keep on raging. You know what I'm saying? You got to have something to hold on to. That's your anchor. But my thing is this: you never stop trying to add more knots in your rope, man. You know what I'm saying? Get a little joy every now and then. Sometimes when you're not feeling good, manufacture a little joy when you're feeling bad. And when you're feeling bad, just remember some of those good days. And that way you can keep pressing on.
Absolutely, man. Appreciate that. Scam Likely. Chasing happiness will make you miserable. What do you? Go ahead.
That's a lie. That's a lie. Chase doom and gloom and you might catch it. It's very easy to catch. Go chase it, you will get it. And you'll be mad if you didn't chase happiness. But nobody's going to tell you that. That's all I got.
All right. JT, from What We Know podcast in the building. JT, chasing happiness. Will it make you miserable? Give me your final thoughts.
It definitely will make you miserable if you're chasing it. Mr. Bennett said it earlier. Pursuit. Prototype said it before. create your life so you can have the happiness. It's a pursuit. It's not a chase. When you're chasing it, that means that you're not at no means happy then, if you're chasing it. But if you're pursuing it, it means that you're preparing yourself, that you're building your life for that. It's the same thing on, if like Mr. Bennett was saying before, how you build yourself up. You don't want to do a whole lot of things, but sometimes you have to do some things in order to do what you want. You know what I'm saying? So when we're talking about chasing something, it's not conducive to our psyche. J. Krishnamurti, he said in this quote, he said, happiness is stranger. It comes when you're not seeking it. When you're not making an effort to be happy, then unexpectedly, mysteriously, happiness is there, born of purity, of loveliness, of a being. I take that and I say, I agree.
Yep. All right, man. I appreciate it. Well, guys, listen, this is the end of the show for us. I appreciate each and every one of you for coming out tonight. You could have been anywhere, but you came here today on the panel. So thank you, Reckless. Thank you, Our Pain, Prototype Dad. Thank you for coming in the back end for me, brother. I appreciate you, man. Mr. Bennett, always, man, much love to you. And y'all be looking out for Mr. Bennett. I ain't gonna say nothing. The Wife School Podcast, thank you for being here. The Lost in Translation Podcast is in the building. Make sure you subscribe to all these great content creators. Prototype Dad, right? Reckless Ray De Niro talks about that money. Prototype Dad talks about life and all that good stuff on his. Just go and check him out. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Our Pain, same thing. Hit him up. All right. Wife School Podcast. Make sure you go and subscribe to her. Lost in Translation, he has his own podcast as well. Make sure you subscribe. And JT from What We Know podcast, go and subscribe to him as well. These are great content creators and great people, not just people who just come on panels. So just thank everybody for being here. Thanks Scam Likely for being here and giving his perspective as well. It's a beautiful thing to have people that you can have a conversation with and move forward. To you guys in the chat, you guys are undefeated. Thank you for being here in the chat. Thank you for all the super chats. Thank you for the cash apps. If you did send them as well, I appreciate you dearly. I love you. Hey, y'all be safe and do something nice for somebody tomorrow, guys. Pay for the person behind you, coffee or something. Or if you can't find anybody to do anything nice for, do something nice for yourself, because self-help and self-care is the best care. All right. So this has been another episode of Black Men Unfiltered Network's Talk That Talk Tuesday. We'll see you guys tomorrow. We got another show tomorrow. On Wednesday, we have our sports show at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time, 1-in-1 sports show. And then right after that, we have Unapologetic with Mandrell and Shushu. All right. And their show tomorrow is going to be Hold Me Unaccountable. Because free will does not exist. That's their show tomorrow. So guys, tune in for that at 8:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. And on Thursday, we got Coach K and Dr. Nkumbe. They're going to be talking it up as well about I think theirs was I'm trying to remember. Give me just a second, because I don't want to say the wrong thing, because they've been having some great shows, guys. If you haven't been tuning in to Coach K and Dr. Nkumbe, they're really helping people. And if you want to come over and give a perspective, or you want to come over and see what he has going on, what they're talking about. So on Thursday, they said disrupting the cycle of inaction by breaking through the 4 Ds. All right. So that's on Thursday, Coach K and Dr. Nkumbe. That's at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. And then on Friday, we got Barbershop Talk, and the title of that show is going to be Your Mama Lied to You. So we're going to tackle that on Friday. All right. So thank you guys for being here. I appreciate it. And from Black Men Unfiltered Network and everybody on this panel, we out. Peace.
Go. Fire by night and a pillar of vapor by day. Walk through the desert, but when you admire the light, see the villains are paper mache. I'm on the way to the promised land, no contraband. I'm an honest man, I'm coming. Have y'all met me? I'm set free, playing my part. Look like the Red Sea. Man, I'm from heaven, I'm here with my brethren. The volume's 11.